हाँ क्या हुआ? ओके ओके, आ गया लाइव, लाइव आ गया, लाइव ऑन यूट्यूब। Hi, very warm good morning to everyone. We are really sorry that we are taking a little of time, but with no other delay, we will start our thing. Welcome to the second edition of the Career Hackathon. We request you all to go to the mentimeter.com and please share your views on this, that how are you feeling right now? Can you please go to the mentimeter.com and see to it that what is happening, what are you feeling, why are you here today? Please log into mentimeter.com. This is the room code. Yeah, hi. Hope you're through with the menti.com. This is the menti.com link. Are you through with it? Yeah, is the menti.com result live? Kavita, can you please see that? If the menti.com results is live, you'll have to speak out. I'm not able to hear you. Wow, that's really great that we have relevance of the topic which has scored the maximum number of scores to join Career Hackathon. Let's go live with Gina Artiva, who is the conscious music speaker, and she will take us into the music thing shortly. So once we close the Mentimeter.com, Gina, you're right there to start with your show.
So, am I audible?
Yes.
So, shall I start?
Of course.
Hello and good morning, everyone. I am Gina Arsiva. I am India's first conscious music artist and also a transformational coach. And today I'm going to give you an example. So I'm going to take you through an exercise, a musical exercise, which I request all of you to take part in. And this is aimed at helping us open, expand, and raise our state of minds. All right. So, two things I want from you, and that is to absorb the music, the sound, and to visualize whatever I am asking you to visualize. So, here we start. Can you hear the sound? All right. So, I want you to think of one thing that makes you truly different from everyone else around you. Some unique ability, unique strength, unique talent that makes you different. And this kind of process to find out what is unique is only because I want you to understand that when you operate out of your uniqueness, no matter what you do in your life, you're bound to be successful, you're bound to be also happy. All right? Now, absorb the sound and think of something unique within you. Now, I'm going to give you another soundtrack. With this beats, I want you to think of all the things that are happening in your life. All the things that are happening in your life, the speed with which you're going through things, you're trying to do so many things. But in the midst of all that, I want you to focus on your unique strength, on something that only you can do and no one else can. All right, next, the beat is going to get more intense. Enjoy the beat and continue to think of all the beautiful, unique things about you. Even one unique thing that makes you different from everyone else. And as you think of that, next I want you to think of something that you can do with this unique ability in your life. Whatever your unique strength is, imagine that you're using it in your life to do something, to create a career, to live a life, to do everything beautiful. Here we go. Now you'll hear a different sound. Check this out. Pick yourselves up from the depths of all the darkness and stress and anxiety you have felt, and pick yourself up with this sound and allow your uniqueness to shine. You should be able to see that you're shining with your unique light, the unique things that make you so different from everyone else. Visualize leading a life totally operating out of your uniqueness. Now take a deep breath and just absorb this soundtrack as I speak to you. was a little demo, or rather a teaser of a much longer and detailed exercise with conscious music towards finding your true self and raising your state of mind. So, every kind of music that we've been listening to since our childhood till now, all the music that you've heard, did you know that that music has been secretly programming your state of mind? It's affecting your mental health and even shaping your belief systems. Yes, music has that kind of power. So we need to be very, very conscious about what we are listening to. Is it disempowering me or is it empowering me? So that brings us to the topic of conscious music. It's any music from any genre, could be from your favorite genre, but that which is made with a strong conscious intention to uplift the state of mind and the state of life of the listener. I'm a conscious music artist. I compose, produce, write, sing conscious music. And along with that, I have invented a signature program called the Conscious Music Code. And within this, what I do is I use the music that I make and some transformational techniques, some very unique techniques. So with these two coming together, I give you this, and you are able to then use that to hack into your mind, literally hack in, and then recode your neural network in such a way that you can achieve the highest possibilities of your mind. And once you start doing that, your entire reality looks different. You can bend and reshape your reality. And not just that, you will ultimately be able to create reality. So that's what I do under the Conscious Music Code. And, be it the stress of your exams or the anxiety around choosing a career, or the depression and sadness that comes over heartbreaks, or even the hopelessness people are feeling around the pandemic, all of this is actually a state of mind. And if we could just go into our minds and tweak our state of mind, then we would be at least able to look at reality differently and then ultimately reshape reality. So some of the techniques and things I do in my Conscious Music Code is reorganizing and cleaning up your 3D mental space, and then releasing your emotional toxins, replacing your limiting beliefs in your mind that you're holding to empowering beliefs, and help you find your true self and true identity. And there are lots of techniques from mental space psychology, Indian spiritual mysticism, New Code NLP, and a lot of things that I use to do this. And not to be confused with traditional music therapy and sound healing, because those are healing techniques. What I'm interested is in going deep beyond healing towards life level transformation. I'm interested in giving you a state of mind in which you're able to truly transform your life, not just to relax and rejuvenate you, but to help you transform your state of mind and then transform your life. That's all for me about Conscious Music Code in raising your state of mind. Thank you so much, Career Hackathon, for inviting me to speak.
Thank you so much, Gina. It was really rejuvenating. Honestly, we would have loved to continue with that. However, we have other things which have to, come
Yes.
right now. And we have now with Mr. Dr. Manish Kumar, CEO and MD from the National Skill Development Corporation. We welcome you, sir, onto this, and we request Sunil, sir, to please take a back seat at this moment of time, and I'll invite you again to join us for the next session, which will be sharing shortly. In the meanwhile, may I request Dr. Ashok Pandey, who is going to take us through the complete journey of what are the new skills that will matter in the radically changed world. Over to Dr. Ashok Pandey. Just for the people who are not knowing Dr. Ashok Pandey, he is a veteran in this industry, and he comes from an school background, education background. He's working a lot on the sustainable development. If I'll start narrating his bio, then it would take too much of time. Over to you,
Sunanda,
sir.
leave it at this, and let me thank you for a very comprehensive, embarrassingly large introduction. I think the time is very short and the viewers are waiting for a very, very long time. And therefore, we will not go into a lot of ceremonies. Gina has given a wonderful start, and she has talked about transformation. She has talked about not be bound to your limitations and be empowering. I think she has made a perfect background to a very, very short presentation that I'm going to make. Give me a second. I'm going to share my screen. And here you are. Good morning once again to my viewers. The topic is what new skills will matter in a radically changed world. So there are two operatives of this topic which Sunanda has given. One is the new skills that will matter and a radically changed world. And therefore, I will talk about what do we mean by radically changed world. So just a second. So there you are. What are the characteristics of the radically changed world that we are talking about? Any radically changing world or any radical situation has got four key elements to it. The change is very enormous. The impact of the change is very far reaching. It gives a lot of venues for innovation. So you can say it is a innovation friendly change. And the result of all this is that we have to come out with something, some innovation, some acts, some skills which are transformative in nature. Because imagine the radical change that we are talking about. It has changed our old paradigms. It has put us into a, a paradigm which is unknown, which is uncertain, and which is unpredictable. And therefore, to change them into known and certain and predictable, I think we have to be something different. And what that difference is, I will talk about three key skills that we have to develop alongside our innovations and transformative experiments. So those key elements are the skills. First is learning to learn. I think that is going to be a very, very important thing. So we have to learn faster. We have to learn more skills. And like we do a video conferencing call with 10 people and we go on merging one person to other, and we talk to a large group of people, we have to merge all these skills creatively, because more skills will bring more qualities. More qualities will bring more habits, and more habits will make us a better person, and we will start thriving. And therefore, learning to learn has been talked about in the past, but it is going to assume an entirely new meaning in the radically changing world. So this is the first skill that I'll emphasize. The second is that we have to adapt to the new situation. And for that, we have to develop an appetite for change. So, Charles Darwin said that it is not the strength or the intelligence that makes you survive and thrive, it is your ability to adapt. So adaptability will come across as a very, very important skill. And to adapt to a change and to develop an appetite for change, we have to keep two things in mind. Number one, comfort is just the opposite of thriving. So if you love comfort, forget about surviving and thriving. That is one thing. The second thing is, this is something which I have taken from Albert Einstein, who said once that I do not have any special intelligence, do not have any special talent. I only have a passionate curiosity to know and to do. And that brings an appetite for change. So we have to develop curiosity. And I'll explain in a minute what curiosity is all about. Curiosity is desire to know new things. Curiosity is about overcoming the fear when we are going to learn a new technique. Curiosity is about having a purpose in learning something new. And remember, and it has been proven in this period of 2 to 3 weeks to 4 weeks that all of us are learning constantly. And a bird never learns to fly when it is pushed out of the nest. And that is why I said in the beginning that it is the most conducive period for innovation and for learning new skills. So this is the second one. And now I come to the third one, push to action. You see, many of us have a lot of things in our mind to do, but that has to be brought into action. And an action oriented skill development is something which is very, very important. And it has a certain steps. And what are those steps? That we have to promise to ourselves that we want to take an action, then make that commitment. And that commitment, you will be sometimes disturbed, you will postpone it, sometimes you are depressed or something like that will happen, and you will have a lot of reasons not to take action. And therefore, under this situation, you need some purpose and intention to keep you on the path of doing something. And that purpose is threefold. Basically, all three of them are same. Number one, whenever you are in doubt whether to do it or not do it, please remember what benefit your action is going to take for others. Now, putting others into focus, and that is what I said, the social good, what good it is going to bring to others. And that will spur your promise, your commitment, your action, your innovation, your ability to learn new skills. And remember, anything good that you do, there is only one main thing into it. And that main thing is that how my action is going to help others. And from there, comes the skill of social entrepreneurship. And particularly for the young children or the school going children, college going students, if they are listening to me, I will further emphasize that your focus should be on social entrepreneurship. And therefore, the three things that I said, I will just quickly go over: learning to learn, appetite for change, and push to action. And then the fourth thing comes out of all these. I'll be very brief, and that is called charisma of ability to do something. You see, so charisma, people say, is inborn, and the leaders and the actors and the magicians, scientists, they have some charisma in them. They have, of course, but most of it is learned. It is learnable. It can be developed. It is the ability how you can draw people around you. Can you inspire others? Do you surround yourself by the people who are inspiring in nature? Do you have the ability to encourage others, to make them reach their maximum potential? And are you developing those qualities and values in you, which gives trust to the people, which gives hope to the people, gives stability to the people? You give your shoulders where people can lean over it, and the compassion that you have developed. So these are the four things, in my opinion, which are going to matter a lot and going to make people come out of the survival mode and reach up to the thriving mode. So with these skill developing characteristics, I rest my case. Sunanda, if there are any questions, I can take that as well.
Yes, sir. There is one question,
Yeah.
and this is by one of the. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
question
please.
is from one of the audience. Will COVID-19 speed up the use of robots in place of human workers? So this question comes from an audience, and we are having some audience prizes also. So you will
Okay,
have to pick up the best question. There are 3 questions that have come to me.
okay.
So this is the first question. That is
Yeah,
it going to
so COVID-19, if you listen to my presentation very clearly, it is going to spur a lot of innovation. And robotics, artificial intelligence, quantum computing, new technologies, Internet of Things, they're already on the anvil of innovation. And certainly a lot of innovation will take place there. A replacement or no replacement, it is yet some time. We can postpone that proposition or hypothesis for some time. But the whole idea is that all innovations will be driven by people only. So let us not put anything into the zone of uncertainty at this particular juncture.
perfect? So there is another question. What
Yeah.
will be the new normal?
So I said the new normal is that now the employer and employee relationship will change, the protocols will change, the teacher student relationship will change, the protocols will change, a lot of collaboration will take place. We will have to pass through 3 stages. The first stage, I said, is the survival stage, which we are going through. And at the same time, we are also readjusting to the situation, or we can say we are reassembling ourselves. But out of this, the new normal will be that we will have to lead through example, and then only we can thrive in the new normal.
Perfect, sir. So out of these 2 questions, which one is your favorite so that we can give an award to
The,
the
the,
person?
the second one is my favorite, but the first one I liked.
Okay, so you want to give award to both, or you want to give the
Yes,
award?
yeah. I
Perfect, sir.
think both of them should be given. Yeah,
Point noted, sir. So we have Siddharth and Minank who have won this prize. We will be
yeah.
sharing the coupons to you very shortly.
Congratulations to both of them.
Thank you. And sir, thank you so much for your enlightening speech. Though there are so many other things which we have to ask, but due to the time boundness,
I
now,
understand it.
thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you for having me here. I wish you all the best.
Pleasure, sir.
What
Thank you.
what you are doing is also something which comes in the charisma of character. You are inspiring people, you are collecting people who can inspire each other, and that you have proved my point that this is going to be the new normal.
Thank you so much for your kind words, sir. With this, I would request Dr. Manish Kumar. Sir, you'll have to put off your presentation.
Yeah, just a second.
Yeah.
Just give me a
And
minute.
may I request Dr. Manish Kumar to join us? Dr. Manish Kumar is the MD and CEO of National Skill Development Corporation. But before that, he has done his BTech from Dhanbad. Then he was in Indian Administrative Services for 11 years. He was in World Bank. Now he's in NSDC. There are so many other things which he has bagged, but not coming between you and Dr. Manish. Over to Dr. Manish Kumar. Sir, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. So very warm welcome and thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, it's a great pleasure to be joining, and I think this is a fantastic initiative. Yeah, I guess I've been listening to some of the talks, and it's really enjoyable. All that was being spoken. So I think from my side, you wanted me to give some inputs on how skills could be integrated to education. So I'll keep myself to that.
Yes, sir.
I will probably lay out the broad thought process why skill is certainly so important, and its integration into education is also quite critical at this juncture of India's history. For that matter, actually, is globally important at this point. And also what all we are doing and what all we could do together along with other educationists who might be listening. So I'll share some of my thoughts. So firstly, I think one important thing to realize is the changing nature, the changing nature of world which has occurred post internet. What we have realized is that internet as a very powerful, transforming kind of technology had changed the way in which human civilization operates. And this we call the Industry 4.0, as many of you would have heard. Industry 2.0 is the one in which school education, or for that matter, education system in the world has normally functioned. Because that's about 100 years old when we had the whole concept of factory line coming in. And if you think of a typical car being manufactured, it just moves through a line, a factory line, and then keeps on getting added, improved at every stage. Eventually, it comes out as a full-fledged car, which is what a customer uses. And that was the same way in which we organized, if you look at our education system too, that you go from one grade to another, to another, to another, going upwards. And then when you come out with some broad knowledge of things. The economy at that point of time respects the knowledge that you've acquired. And then what it wants is that you come over and learn on the job, utilize the base knowledge that you have created to then generate more income for the society that you're serving. So that's the way it was organized. But if you look at what's happening now, the technology itself is changing exponentially with internet coming in and new kind of products that keeps on coming. Every 2 to 3 years, you find a sudden disruption of the old. And if you then therefore begin to think about an employer, his interest is not just about what you might know on the basics and fundamentals. He or she wants, the employer wants that you should come prepared with some basic skills that enables you to actually jumpstart the economy or continue with the economy rather than you learning, because by the time you learn, things change. So things change pretty fast, and therefore you have to be adaptable. And as the speaker before me was saying, that you have to continuously learn and relearn what you are doing. So new skills have to be acquired all the time. But even as you jump in, you must have enough skills by which the employer feels that your presence is going to benefit the company. So that's the way the employer looks at this. I think the need for skills, and the need for therefore embedding skills into the education system is paramount, and it's happening actually globally. We have noticed this happening in some countries in a fairly deep way. For example, if you take the case of Finland, they have integrated skills into education right from primary education. I mean, right at that point, children get exposed to the world of the skills, which is building dexterity in their minds, and also then get academic inputs. So both of them happen together rather than separately. And the same kind of thing is something which you have observed in Sweden in the models of Kunskapsskolan, which is being promoted by Manavratna University in India, and that is adapted to the Indian context, and with skills as the main focus area. So we find models across the world, even in countries like US, where skills, incidentally, had taken a bit of back burner for a while. In the last 2-3 years, I've noticed that the agencies that dealt with skills have suddenly been revived, and that they have got a new life, and skills is being taught or being promoted in a much bigger way. So I think that's something which is happening in India too. And some of the interesting, I think, initiative which I notice, and I see the promise of that, is what's happening in through the Ministry of HRD. So the programs that are there in schools, for example, I think there are about 11,000 schools, 11,434, as I remember correctly, covered by the vocationalization of education in schools program of the ministry. And together they touch the lives of almost 10 lakh students every year. And this is in class 9, 10, 11, and 12. There are almost 70 different job roles that are linked to the demands that are there in the market. So it could be related to retail, it could be related to IT, it could be related to logistics. So the different kinds of demands which are there in the market. So these job roles are linked to that. And assessment is being done by the local state board together with sector skill council, which are supported by NSTC. So that's the kind of arrangement which has been built. And So that's a very positive one, because there was a review also done by the Ministry of that, and some interesting insights which turned out was the satisfaction of parents, that my children actually is more confident. He seems to have learned quite a bit by getting into skilling, and he's become more social. He's become much more confident about himself. So I think that's the parent side. When it comes to the employer side, this many of these guys go and they get into employment. They're very happy about the fact that uh, the children who come with skills end up being more productive compared to someone who is totally unskilled and comes for the first time. Could therefore be a bit of risk to himself because he doesn't know enough about the soft floor, or could be a risk to someone else or to the company itself by spoiling some of the machinery and costly equipments. So therefore, they feel more comfortable with the skilled children, and they often say that, yeah, he is raw, he needs to learn more, but we prefer him or her compared to somebody who is totally unskilled. So I think this is a good feedback from the employer too, as from the parents, and the children themselves more confident when they report about their own feeling having taken these kind of courses. So therefore, we do believe that this is a positive trend, and there should be need for more of it. As I mentioned, Manav Rasna is trying an interesting experiment along with government of Haryana in about 100 schools where they have promoted Kunstkampfkulen model, which essentially implies that every child is learns at his own pace and therefore has to be given lessons which are not necessarily classroom driven in a very strict way, but gives him the opportunity to learn at a pace that he or she is comfortable with. So that's the model which they have followed. There's a lot of tutoring that happens at the back end, and a lot of technology enabled methods through which these lessons are delivered. Fairly powerful, actually. Quite a bit of money is spent by um, the Kedman group in building up the curriculum and content because the technology that is needed at the back end. So uh, these are new and interesting experiments that are occurring, and I expect that there would be many more. There is also some new initiatives taken by some of the sector skill councils, media, logistics, and retail. Three of them have embedded apprenticeship into regular degree courses. So if you are doing a regular degree courses, and I'm aware that about 650 children are doing these courses at the moment. It was started last year, where you could be you would end up getting a regular degree course, but in the process, you would be picking up something relating to logistics, which is directly related to a job, and you're learning on the soft floor too, even as you're learning the theory of it in the classroom. So both of them happening back to back, a model which I feel in the long term will be extremely useful because it not only makes you realize the value of a particular job in terms of theory, but also actually makes you understand how to do it. And that's critically important if the economy is to go forward. So that's one interesting model which is there. We are, of course, all aware of TISH having a lot of BVOC courses, and they are very good. So therefore, skilling is getting mainstreamed into education. The new policy of the government, the draft policy at the moment, also talks quite a bit about bringing in vocational education in a bigger way into the education mainstream. So I think that's something towards which all of us have to work. One big challenge would be working on what we call the National Skill Qualification Framework, NSQF. Uh, it is the level through which um, various competencies are defined, and it goes from level 1 up to level 10. Level 10 would be a PhD, level 1 is class 9. So that's the kind of classification that was made. And competencies are defined at each of these levels. Now, the challenge, I think, is that when we do skilling and when we do have a regular academics, how does one move horizontally? And I think that's a work which is still incomplete in terms of how much credit should one get having done, let's say, a short-term course of 3 months, or somebody has done an ITI course for 2 years, or somebody has done a 3-year course in a polytechnic. So how would you compare these three? even if they are in level 4, each of them, the time that you would have spent in Polytechnic or ITI is much more, and therefore the knowledge that you have imbibed is much more. And how does one therefore create a credit system which is fair, equitable, and gives the right signal to the academic side also, that transition becomes possible. I think that's one challenge which remains, and more work is needed out there. Once we have that, and also get our assessment right, because one of the complaints with skills often is the problem with assessment, and often the assessment do not really show the quality of skilling. And we are aware that there are problems there. A lot of them have been fixed too, because we do a lot of data analytics, and we realize that there are certain sectors where the problem seems to be more than other sectors. A lot of it is being moved into tech platforms to ensure that human element is minimized, and therefore any chance of corruption or favoritism that can reduce. So those kind of efforts are ongoing. But I do feel that this skilling, by improving this regulatory framework and making that connect, which is currently lacking with regular academics, and encouraging people therefore to move vertically as well as horizontally, is the way for the future. In addition to that, a lot of skills that are emerging, which we call the future of skills, is linked very deeply to what NSDC does through the NASCOM and the ITS Sector Skill Council. And that's also currently embedded into some of the school education initiative taken by Maharashtra University. So these were a few points which I wanted to share. And I would be very keen to work with educational institutions in taking many of the initiatives that we do forward together with you. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you so much, sir. But before you leave, there are lots of questions which are poured on YouTube. I may not be able to take up all, but there are something which is really relevant. Sanjeev Soni, he or she asked that what are the most important 21st century skills that each school needs to plan to impart the children, to impart the skills to the children?
So in my view, one of the most important skill that one must have is the soft skill. I believe that there are actually studies that shows that almost 1/3 of your wages in future are explained by soft skills. And that's something on which India has been lacking, because we don't really teach that enough. So for example, leadership skills, the ability to communicate, the ability to be assertive when it is needed. These are not taught in a very systematic way. And I think these are important, because when you get into a workplace, there would be various kinds of interactions. People generally tend to stay away from conflict, but conflicts are important. If you really want to grow as a society, you must be able to have conflicts, but still be respectful. Conflict of ideas, not conflict of individuals. You must have conflict of ideas. And that's what helps you to get to better. Also challenging yourself, that you must step out of your comfort zone, but it should not be so far away that you're demoralized. So how do you get that balance right? So these things come when you get into the soft skilling part. This currently is lacking in schools and is important, I believe.
One more question is, what are the skills that are needed in response to COVID-19, particularly for the entrepreneurs and the startups? And how can people connect with NSDC Sectoral Skill Council so that they can work together with them?
So for entrepreneurs and startups, I think this is an interesting time, because I am aware that there are lots of funds at the moment looking for good startups who can think for the future, being aware of what we are going through currently, because I think there would be changes which will be long term, and there would, all of us agree that there will be impact of how we behave, how we operate in future. So for startup, I think it's a good time. You would need to perhaps look for an idea that is suitable, and there will be plenty of people perhaps willing to finance you. So far as connecting with sector skill councils, or for that matter NSDC is concerned, we have our website, which is very elaborate and detailed. You can send an email. We'll be happy to respond to you. The sector skill councils are also having their own website. So if you just type the sector skill council and which sector skill council are you looking for, you get them. Or if you're not sure, then you can get the list of all of it in our website. And there's a link provided through which you can jump to the other.
Right, sir. In fact, Dr. Blossom Kocher, who is representing the Beauty and Wellness Sector Skills Council, she would be one of the speaker in our event right now after the Excellence Awards. And there are so many other questions, but I understand from your office that you have a ministry, important meeting at the ministry. So I will, thank you so much from the audience and other people who have joined us from the organization side. Thank you for joining us and making our day.
Thank you, Sunanda. Thank you so much, and wish you all the
Pleasure.
best.
Thank you. Okay, so not taking much of your time, what we are going to do right now is we are going to start with the Excellence Awards. And these Excellence Awards are something that we are going to do right now for the school categories. Now, what do we do generally? When we invite the applications and then we scrutinize the people that how they are planning to do, what are they doing, what are their best practices. And based on this, we are presenting some of the Excellence Award, and we start with the school categories first. We had two categories of awards for the schools this time. One is the Sustainable Development Goals, and the other one is more to do with the COVID-19, how people are fighting with COVID-19 right now. So I know I have informed few of the awardees that they are getting the awards. However, as a token of appreciation for every one of them, I would request all of you to share your applauds and the congratulations to everyone, every winner who is coming on the Excellence Award. Now, to start with, the best practices for the Sustainable Development Goals goes to the Modern Public School, New Delhi, Shalimar Bagh, and Miss Alka Kapoor will be receiving this award on behalf of Modern Public School. Is Miss Alka Kapoor there online right now? I guess no problem. We will make a move. Congratulations, Ms. Alka and Modern Public School. You have received over 300 plus votes, and the jury has highly appreciated what you're doing right now in terms of the sustainable goals. Second award for the best practices for the online education is going to Caloric School, which is based out of Ahmedabad, and Nirali is going to take the award from Caloric Public School, Ahmedabad. Is Nirali there with us? Can you unmute your line if you're there?
Yes, I'm here.
Congratulations to the entire team of Calorix. I'm sure Ananta, who is going to be our speaker in the next panel, he would be
Yes.
absolutely delighted to have. Congratulations once again, and keep the good work going on, Nirali.
Thank you, Sunanda. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. So moving on to the next category, the Social Entrepreneur Award. This goes to Ramagya Foundation, and Miss Rajni would be taking up this award in case if she's not live with us on the YouTube or on the thing. Just for your information, Ramagya Foundation has done extremely well when during the COVID thing, they have ensured that the underprivileged people are getting the food packets so that immediate COVID effect of the lockdown was not there. And in fact, they are keeping on doing the good work. But this is one of the reasons why they bagged this award. Congratulations, Ramagya Foundation. Moving on to the next category, Best Practicing School for the SDG. Again, this is SGSM School from Jamshedpur. They have been doing excellently well in the Sustainable Development Goals, the practicing, the teacher training, the students training on the Sustainable Development Goals. Is Miss Abha there with us? Okay, if she's not there, congratulations once again to SGSM School and Miss Abha Vishwakarma. We move on to the next category. Best Practicing School for saluting the trainers, because they have absolutely beautiful practice how they are motivating. I would request Miss Aparna Magi to come online right now on video and share one of your practice, what you're doing, that how your teachers are engaging with the students.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, let me just thank you, Sunanda, for this award. And really, it's a salute to the silent warriors. I think that teachers are the ones who are fighting this COVID shoulder to shoulder with the doctors, nurses, and the police and everybody else. But the work that they're doing at home, very quietly and silently, is requiring a lot of effort. So many of them are learning now technology, which we were not very aware of before. right? So they are taking teacher training online, what not is happening. But yes, I have to give it to my teachers. I'm so grateful to them for standing up to the occasion and working odd hours. We are doing everything. Like we have used Zoom for the live classes, and we are using audio recordings. Sometimes there are people who are caught up in different places where they do not have the connections also properly. So we are trying to send them emails, and we are to send them audio recordings and the worksheets and all, and change the worksheets, which can be done online and can be discussed online, right? There's a lot of work goes into it, because you need to change your questions. The way you ask questions has to be changed. And by God's grace, that is coming up very well. And thank you so much to my teachers, actually.
Salute to the teachers of Ramagya. Not only Ramagya, every school who is taking an extra step. Thank you so much,
Totally
Aparna-ji, for being with us. Congratulations once again.
Pleasure, Sunanda. Thank you so much.
Okay. So now we move on to the next category, wherein we are going to have 1 minute. I'm sorry, I did a wrong slide. Well, it is Mr. Sunil Mudgil who would actually talk about the motivational part, that what is the PhD, which is the success of mantra. Over to Sunil Mudgil. He is a retired brigadier. He's a doctorate. Now he is a leadership coach. Sunil, over to you.
Yeah, shall I? Yeah, shall I?
Yes, of course.
Am I coming on the screen?
Yes, you're very much on the screen, sir.
Oh, great, very good. Okay, friends, good morning. Yeah, give me a high five. Let me create energy. I always believe in one aspect in life, that if you got to be successful, you need two things. One is energy and second is focus. So let's create energy, and then I will create a focus how to be successful in life. So to create a bit of energy, give me a high five. Yeah, great. I can feel that you're giving me high five. Yeah, wherever you are, give me a high five, my friend. Very good. And also tell me yay. Yeah, yay. I'm very happy. Yeah, listen to the music and tell me yay. Wow, very good, my friends. Very good, my friends. Without getting into the nitty-gritty, my friends, let me straight get into the topic, how to be successful and happy in life. I will ask you a question and I will repeat it. I will not wait for the answers. You have the answers in your mind. I will give you 5 to 7 seconds. Then I will declare the answer myself. You try and connect the answer, whether it's the right answer or not the right answer. Because answers have to be within you, and we don't have to find out answers in the environment. So my question is, if you have to climb a mountain, what is the one thing you need the most? 5 seconds. I'll repeat the question. If you have to climb a mountain, what is one thing you need the most? Great. I'm sure a lot of answers must have come in your mind. Some people must be thinking you need to be trained, you need to have a right kit, you must have passion, you must be adventurous, and you should have courage. All that stuff has come into your mind. My take is, if you have to climb a mountain, the most important thing you need in life is the mountain. The mountain. Why? Because mountain will decide whether you need the courage, conviction, training, the training rig, and stuff like that. If you do not have a mountain, then it has no way to find it out how much courage you want. Let me give you an example. I put two football teams in the ground and do not put the goalpost there. They will continue fighting for 90 minutes with a half-time break. And end of when the match is over, if I ask them who has won, nobody will be able to decide who's been the winner. Some of them might get out by looking at the red card given by the referee. Some of them may be out because it's too aggressive. Some of them may get hurt and may be out of the system. But end of the day, after 90 minutes, you cannot decide who's the winner. Winner can only be decided if there's a goal post. Similarly, and friends, when you look at our own life, you cannot, the amount of energy, the courage, it will not take you anywhere unless you have a focus where you want to be in life. So friends, it is always said, goals are guide to success. Goals are guide to success. And I'm also of the firm believer, if you do not set goals for yourself, you are doomed to achieve the goal of someone else. You'll be going around watching movies of Salman, Shah Rukh, going for malls and running around, changing, buying new dresses. If you have the goal, you don't have the time for all that. Look at the PV Sindhu. For 6 months, she did not open up her mobile to see the WhatsApp till she won the world championship. If you have the goal, the energy gets automatically focused onto that. Now, how do you decide? How do you find out the goals in life, my friend? Let me give you a model. My model is you should think of 4H. The first H is head. Whatever you want to decide in life, you want to do social work, you want to go into the performing art, you want to be a doctor, astronaut, anything in life, you must think from the head that you must have a self-esteem, whatever you're going to do. Live with self-esteem. Second H is heart. Do it what your heart wants. Don't think of your brain when you're doing anything. But your brain is a very naughty guy. It puts on something profit and loss and good and bad. Don't listen to the brain. Think of something coming out of your heart, because heart will always tell you what you must do it in life. Once things comes out of your heart, then the third H, high hands. Then you should not be shying away to put as much effort as you can. It may be on digital, it may be on physical aspects or anything, because something coming out of your heart is actually the one you are loving it. People say anything you love, you don't have to work even for a day in your life. Anything what you love and do, you don't have to work even one day in your life, because you're just loving it, enjoying it. It's career as well as enjoyment. Fourth H is the harvesting. H, harvesting. There's a delay between hard work and the harvest plan. Friends, please have patience. Nobody in the world could become number one in days or in months. You got to put in a real amount of work, put in hard work. Since things are close to your heart, nobody on the earth can stop you becoming successful and happy in life, my friends. So please remember two things what I said. Goals are guide to success. Your goals must come out of your heart. Follow the 4H model. And let me give you another model quickly. And when you're looking at the goals which comes out of your heart, follow a model called PhD. And what is PhD? You must be in schools and which are now connected. You must be thinking, what is the PhD? PhD is anybody can get it at any point of time in life. P is passion. Now, something coming out of your heart, there's no reason why you're not passionate about it. It is something you love it, you something like it. So you got to be passionate. So be passionate to follow your dream, what comes out of your heart. P, H is hunger. Then challenge yourself. Why? Because it is not somebody telling you to do something. It is you are selecting something which you want to do. So challenge yourself. Have a lot of hunger to achieve what is coming out of your heart. And third is D, discipline. In the world, nothing can be achieved without discipline, my friends. Simple meaning of discipline is doing something when nobody is telling you to do, doing something when nobody is observing what you are doing it. You are just doing it because you're loving it. And that is what is discipline is all about. So friends, what I said, three things so far. First thing is goals are guide to success. And to select goals, you must think of 4H. And when you're thinking, the heart comes in, what you're looking at is, my friend, when the heart comes between, you are looking at how I must move forward. Then I'm giving a model called PhD, passion, hunger, and yes, I'm sure you picked up. Yes, passion,
discipline,
hunger, and yeah, I can hear you. Some of you
discipline.
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 Discipline. I'm so happy somebody gave it. Yes, Sunanda ma'am, I wanted them to connect with me. Thank you very much. Great. And if I have one more minute to go, now
Sir, I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. I'll have to bang you here because
Okay.
Mr. Anil Swaroop, I
Fine.
actually took the schedule
So
of him because of the tech. I'm so
okay.
sorry for that. But believe
Then
me, there are
what
so
I
many
said,
other questions. There are
yeah.
so many questions that we have.
Before I take the question, let me summarize what I said. What I said, three things, my friend. First thing I said, goals are guide to success. Now, from where will you get the goals? Follow the model called 4H: head, heart, hands, and harvesting. And in the heart, some which is coming it out, follow a model called PhD: passion, hunger, and discipline. Thank you very much, Sunanda ma'am. I am ready for the question in case there are questions.
Sir, I will take up the questions later on, and we will create a YouTube, video, and we'll post it because there are plenty of questions. So, not wasting much of the time, I would thank you for the lovely session that you have given, energizing session, and I will switch over to the next speaker, Mr. Anil Swaroop.
Thank you, Sunanda ma'am. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, audience.
Well, my welcome to, we'll welcome Mr. Anil Swaroop to our event. And Mr. Anil Swaroop, if you can put up your video, that would be really nice. And believe me, when I said people that Mr. Anil Swaroop is there in our event and he is going to answer your queries, I have received more than 50 questions for him. Sir, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. Can you hear me?
Very good morning, sir. I'm so sorry. Due to the technical glitches, the time has actually shuttled out. Well, not going to any other thing, I'll just introduce a bit about you. Sir is an Indian administrative qualified person. He has served to the government for a long time. He was in Coal India, then he was in the education sector, secretary into the education sector. Very well-known personality in the education fraternity. And it gives an entire new dimension when Mr. Anil Swaroop is in any of the event. Thank you so much for accepting this. And I will not put forward all the 50 questions, but I've picked up most of the 5, that which industries are likely to have less impact from this crisis, or say which segment will recover the fastest.
See, it will be very difficult to predict what's going to happen and when it's going to happen because COVID is still there. We still don't know whether after 3rd of May it will be opened up. But my understanding is that the manufacturing sector will pick up pretty fast because whatever manufacturing has happened, that supply would be already taking place and there would be a pressure on the manufacturing sector. So there will be no dearth of demand as far as manufacturing is concerned. So manufacturing sector will pick up fast. Number 2, the sector which I see to be flourishing in the near future would be those sectors based on technology, because gradually almost everyone is switching over to virtual interaction, like the conference that you are having. So whereas people like those that are managing these conferences through the virtual mode will stand to benefit, but the actual conferences will come down because I don't see many actual conferences happening in the next 6 months. So that's another segment that's going to suffer on account of this. Similarly, I think the entertainment industry, the movies, the restaurants, the tourists, all this is going to suffer. These are sectors that are going to face a lot of problems because, again, even though COVID scare may go away after a couple of months, people will still be scared of going around and moving in public. So these are the sectors that are going to be adversely affected. But the positive part could be the manufacturing sector. And I see the biggest positive that is coming out is what is happening in China. I hear noises about other countries moving out of China. Now, the question is, are we preparing ourselves to house such industry that's likely to move out of China? My hunch is many industries, manufacturing units are going to move out to India, creating huge opportunities for us. So there are indeed a lot of opportunities that are going to become available once the crisis gets over. It's a question of how you look at it. Some of us are feeling very depressed that the economy may tank. Yes, there is going to be some adverse impact on the economy, but I think the country is resilient enough to pick up on what is happening. The focus has to be in terms of making these activities easier by the government, and the government is already at it, to see how do we take care of the existing issues that have emerged. For example, the cash problem that most of the industry has at this point in time, people do not have, and the worst impacted people are going to be people who are daily wage workers. You can already see that. So once this crisis gets over, if the government gets its acts in place, which I believe they are trying to make one, they should be able to get the momentum going. Though, of course, it will take some time for us to come back to where we were earlier.
I would be really doing injustice if I'm not taking the calls and other things, because people are pouring the questions on WhatsApp as well. Well, this question comes from Nirali Dagli, who is the principal of Caloric School, that how sustainable is the virtual teaching in India at the present scenario and in future?
See, when you say India, you are taking India as a monolithic whole, which it isn't. If you look at the India of the urban sector, if you look at the India where internet connectivity is good, I think technology is going to be a game changer in education. But there is a huge segment, huge part of this country where such technology does not exist, where I think the traditional way of teaching will continue. Let me clarify here. Whereas technology is going to be a very, very useful supplement to teaching, I don't think it can ever, or it should ever, replace the teacher. Teacher is going to be there. But technology is going to play an increasingly greater role in terms of delivering quality education in the country. I'll give you a very small example. When I was a child, when I was going to the school, I struggled to understand the Archimedes principle. And as Secretary Education, someone showed me a video of Archimedes principle. Just the moment I saw that video, I can't forget that video. Within a minute and a half, I understood the principle. So that's the power of technology. But the human touch which the teacher provides cannot be replaced by technology. So technology will play a very important role. In the coming days, in urban areas with technology, I mean, people have been approaching me, they've been asking me whether they could think in terms of an alternative day school. Why have school every day? One day let the child be at home and learn through the internet, and one day he comes to the school. There could be common facilities created for sports where children can go. But as far as learning is concerned, they need not go to the school every day. So these are things that are being talked about. I think what has happened through COVID, people have started thinking it will lead to a lot of innovation and new practices will emerge.
Right. Thank you so much, sir, for this question. I'm getting the pouring of the questions, which on unable to stop this tsunami of the question. Well, this question comes from Orissa, that how do you foresee the COVID crisis affecting the income inequality in India? I think when I said that you are an ex-administrative officer, Indian administrative officer, people are, okay, I have received your email ID, sir. In fact, I would put all the questions to people, in a video way, so that a video thing can be put, but still people will send you the questions. Well, this question is again on that which future segment would have pursue the career start and what is the new business opportunities. So, the moment when I said you're an administrative person, so they're asking education, administrative, every question to you.
No, I have no,
so the question
I have no problem with any question. I think inequality is going to be impacted because the worst affected by this are the poorest of the poor. In fact, if you look at the manner in which migration happened from cities or larger towns to their home places, it's pretty pathetic. Those guys are going to be impacted. For them to come back and get into employment is going to be pretty bad. All of us will have to join hands to see that the impact is reduced as much as we can and help the government in doing that. So that is as far as this is concerned. The other question, what was the other question?
So other question is, which segment would come forward and what are the business opportunity where people should start their startups?
Huge business opportunities are going to come up. One is the technology segment. All communication is going to switch over to internet. A lot of communication will go. A lot of virtual participation. It's already happening thanks to COVID. I think like this conference, you wouldn't have visualized but for COVID, because we are sitting at home. And I used to travel thrice a week to some destination in the country. And now every day I'm having in a day more than one conference. And it's not very difficult for me to sit here at home and do it. So these also creates huge opportunities for people to create such platforms, such interactions could happen seamlessly, discussions could happen. I'm holding meetings sitting at home, something which I never thought I would do. Now I'm doing it more than a meeting a day. So the whereas traveling will come down, but alternative ways of communication will emerge and technology will play a very important role. I think people who are going to get into startups are going to develop these virtual frameworks. They were already there. Like, for example, the marketing part, a lot of shopping was happening through the internet mode. Now it will increase. Everything is going to, wherever possible, technology is going to take over and replace physical interface. And that's an area where a lot of startups are going to come up. People are going to come up with more programs, more applications. They were already there, but more and more will come up. More segmented applications will come up. So technology will be an area where people will be doing a lot of startup work.
Sir, one more question. This is from the educators, that how do you foresee looking at the current scenario, there are, so many predictions. So how do you foresee this education academic year for the students, and what should be the precautions or the preventionary measures that teachers should take, schools should take, and students should take? So this is all the three stakeholders would be asking you these questions.
You
So
know, you know, first and the foremost thing at this point in time, and I had been advising a lot of teachers and principals all over the country, get engaged with the children, engage with them whichever way, however, virtually, on phone. Where you do not have internet, talk to children on phone at least once in a while. The engagement part is extremely, extremely important, because more than anything else, it's going to become a mental issue. Imagine a child stuck in a house, in a room, he's not moving out, and only either his parents or siblings are there. Someone will have to speak to them. So this engagement has to, that's number one. Number two, I've been suggesting to teachers that you, wherever there is a possibility, and I would believe there is a lot of possibility, because almost every house has a smartphone now. That being the case, work out a schedule for every day, maybe 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, every day, and give an assignment. Some will do, some will not do, but I think teachers should sit down and do it. Thirdly, interact with other teachers. I mean, there are already WhatsApp groups. Go beyond happy birthdays and good mornings and good evenings and sharing jokes. Get into some serious business. Use this internet to interact with your other colleagues, the friends that you have. Get to know how you can engage with the child or with the student more interestingly. See, the point is, the advantage is that the child is already hooked onto his somebody's phone, his parents' phone. I have grandchildren, and I know they will not leave their parents' phone, so they're already hooked on. So the point is, how do I create attractive applications for him or her to get on to learning something apart from doing other things that they're doing on the telephone? Now, these are the challenges that teachers, the students, the parents will have to do and work towards.
wow, so that's an amazing answer. So how many more questions can we have, because I know you are
I'm here for another 15 minutes.
Perfect, sir. I would take up another 3 questions then. So this question is again from a school teacher. She's asking that, when you mentioned that engaging with the students in the place where the internet is there, that's okay. But the rural villages where the internet facility is not that very good, or the bandwidth problem is a very common thing nowadays. What is your advice to the teachers, that how can they engage with the students?
The telephone is still there. Internet may not be there. Telephone service is available throughout the country. So there's no harm in picking up a telephone and speaking to the parents and to children once in a while. Because you can't get internet connectivity everywhere, but telephone is everywhere. Almost every household or somebody will have a telephone somewhere. Talk to them on telephone, whoever you are. See, you can't have solutions to all the problems that are emerging out of COVID-19. What we should try and do is, whatever we can, we should. I mean, I'm a great believer in not, worrying over issues over which I have no control. They're beyond me. I can't do much about it. But am I doing what I can in the given set of circumstances? That's the primary question. I'm not sure each one of us is doing that. We need to do that. Once we do that, let's see what comes next. If the situation is still evolving.
Perfect. This question comes on AI, that how AI is going to transform the business and the new job opportunities. And is there any threat to the teachers? This is one question again from one of the rural place, and they're asking that since technology is taking too much and we are also taking some time to imbibe with the technology, as you rightly said, we will put forward that the telephone is already there. But is there any threat, because AI will take over now? And in one of the prediction in McKinsey, by 2030, it was said that robots will replace human being in certain sectors, whereas this pandemic has actually done that. So if you can answer that question.
Talking of McKinsey, I did a very small research to ascertain how many of their predictions have come true. So let's not get too hassled about McKinsey. Let's do what we have to do. Let McKinsey do its job. They are big people, for big things. No one questions them when what they predict doesn't happen. No one, in fact, has looked into all the predictions made by so-called economists and McKinsey. Let's not bother about these big people. Let's get down to what we can and we should do. And we can and we should do a lot. Let me very clearly tell you, I don't see technology as a threat to teachers at all. In fact, if anything, it's going to empower the teachers further. Because without that I've been interacting with a lot of school leaders, school owners, and everyone feels that the human touch cannot be replaced. Everyone says that. What technology will do and is already doing is further empower and enable the teacher to deliver quality education. The problem in this country is not teachers or the students. Problem was the quality of education that needed to be delivered. And that's where technology can play a very important role. My reading is very clear. I don't think any teacher needs to be feeling threatened about it. I think if a teacher is grossly incompetent, then of course he or she should feel threatened. But most of the teachers that I've come across, extremely competent, most of them, they are using technology. They're increasingly using technology. They're increasingly feeling empowered. And that's what, if threat there is any to the teachers, it may come from some other quarters, but certainly not from technology. In my understanding of technology is it's going to empower the teachers.
Very well said. Sir, this question is from a prospective student who wants to actually do B.Ed and, go into the education side. So she's asking whether the coronavirus or the technology things are going to change the curriculum of the education system also, that how to teach education.
See, curriculum is something which needs to evolve, has been evolving, will continue to evolve. I don't think curriculum that was there in the later part of the 20th century would be the curriculum today. It should not be, because the world is changing, so curriculum has to change. So curriculum will certainly change, and whoever is planning to set up a B.Ed or whatever college will have to tune the curriculum according to the needs of that particular time. You cannot say that a particular curriculum existed 20 years ago, the same curriculum will run there. It should not, in fact, should not run. So I don't think they have to be really bothered about the curriculum part. They have to attune their own curriculum on the basis of the requirement of that particular period of time. As far as B.Ed is concerned, I did, again, as Secretary of Education, went into the details of it. I think that's the most pathetic part of our education system. Out of the 16,000 B.Ed colleges that we have, 4,000 of them actually do not exist or exist just in name, and they give degrees. So that's an area that will take a whole hour or 2 hours for me to explain. But we would require quality B.Ed and tailored colleges for quality teachers to come out of it. I'm glad if somebody is thinking in terms of a B.Ed college, let them work towards a quality B.Ed colleges. We do require good and competent teachers to come out of it.
Okay, this is question that how well prepared should an individual be for an upcoming situation for the loss of jobs, weak appraisal, and rising income inequality?
See, let me look at it from a slightly different perspective for everyone. In any situation, there are aspects to that situation which are beyond your control. So we can have an academic discussion on what's going to happen or will happen. My contention to everybody who I am speaking to is, don't bother about issues over which you have no control whatsoever. No, COVID has happened. You couldn't do much about it. It's happened. How do you strengthen yourself? How do you prepare yourself for the existing scenario and post-COVID scenario? How do you do that? Let me tell it in the context of a student. And that's very important. The student can't do much about COVID, it has happened, but he can do a lot to himself. He can make the best use of the time available. I'm so glad the speaker before me, the one before Brigadier, he spoke very well about the soft skills. I think this is the period where you can actually develop those soft skills. What are those soft skills? Number one, improve your communication skills. They can be improved. There are tools available today, and students should focus on communication skills. Number two, increase your awareness. You can read a lot, you can learn a lot. Fortunately, you don't have to go out to learn. So much is available on the net. Develop that inquisitiveness. Develop that, that you should be questioning things. That's where you develop your logic. Now, these are soft skills that this is the time for them to develop. The parents that I've been speaking to, the teachers that I'm speaking to, I've been telling them maths, physics, chemistry, they will learn. But these soft skills, no one focuses on them. This is the time to focus. So evolve as a better individual, evolve as a better equipped individual. Whatever be the situation, you don't have any control over the situation. You have enormous control over yourself. Evolve individually as a much more competent person to be prepared to face a situation over which you have no control. So you'll be better prepared. So that is as far as the children are concerned. As far as the teachers are concerned, this is something, a period for them to reflect, to engage with students, as I said earlier, keep engaging with them, to engage with other teachers and try and see what they can do in the given set of circumstances. I mean, a lot of advice will be coming to them, but they can do it on their own. So each individual will have to, or individual sets of people will have to think differently and evolve as individuals, as groups, reflect and improve.
Now, this is from Ghansham Sanset. which things are important to learn to teachers in future to provide a better education? I think you have answered, but if you can just summarize it.
You know,
so
what
that
what I've been repeatedly saying is I think most of the teachers know what they're teaching. The problem is that at the receiving level, that is at the child sometimes does not get attentive enough to learn what he's supposed to learn. That's where the art of a teacher is, to make the presentation or the talk so attractive for a child to feel attracted, to learn. So that's the beauty. That's something, these are the skills that the teacher has to develop. And here technology can be a great enabler. The example that I gave of the video on Archimedes principle was precisely that. It's not that teachers at that point in time were not so good. They were very good. But at that point in time, they didn't have the tools to make what they were telling attractive enough for the child to absorb what was being told to him. Today, you have that technology. To that, you can make education extremely, extremely attractive, extremely, extremely interesting for a child to learn.
Final question, sir. This is from one of the NCCN member, that what is the role now, the new role of career counselor or career coaches looking at the present scenario, because everything is now internet based. So will they have to go behind the internet, or they have to come online and start doing the coaching? If you can just give us an advice for the NCCN members.
You know, my suggestion to you would be, much of your advice is dependent on what the individual is. Your understanding of that particular individual you advise is extremely important, because his likes, dislikes, inclinations, aptitude, attitude has to be understood before he's advised on what to do. Because every parent would want his child to become a doctor or an engineer or a civil servant, somewhere there. And they would push the child there. No, you are going to give a contrarian view if you find the child not inclined towards these. And that's the art that you have to develop on at your end, how to understand an individual. Now, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not an expert at that, but that's something which you have to develop. It may not be very easy for you to understand an individual through a virtual medium like this when you're talking to him in this manner. It may not, because a lot of body language, a lot of expressions, a lot of the volume, the manner in which it's told gets lost in this virtual space. So as far as you are concerned, and if the parents really want their children to be guided, it has to be physical one-on-one discussion. General discussions are okay, but if you are advising a single individual, you have to talk at length to understand that individual very clearly. Some data can become available through the net. They will fill in those forms, they will give you, but much more comes as you interact with the person individually. I have done that, not as a professional, but people do come to me on advice as to what to do, how to do. I insist that apart from the data that you give me, I have to have a one-to-one chat with the person.
Well, thank you so much, sir. I think your inputs are highly appreciated, and people are pouring the questions like anything, which looking at the present constraint of the time, I may not take up, but it was really an awesome thing that you were with us online and you were giving live questions to the people, so that people are very happy about it. Thank you so much once again. It was lovely having you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So now we move on to the next speaker, who is going to energize us and is going to give us the live tips that how to handle the time effectively, how to master on that. Do we have Mr. Nikhil Desai with us, who is an international speaker and a coach who would take up the mastery of time management? Nikhil, over to you. Is Nikhil there?
Yes. I'm very much here. How are you?
I'm doing good, and thank you so much for being here. And
my
I'm
pleasure.
sure you're going to bring so much of energy to the people, not standing between you and the people. Over to Nikhil Desai.
Thank you very much. So we've got what? How much time is it? Till 11:50? Is it right? 11:50?
It's 1 minute. No, it's 11:35. So
right.
It would be 11:55 would be the latest that we can cover, but we would like to cover you by 11:50.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure, so I pace myself accordingly. All right.
Perfect, sir.
Wonderful. Great. Very, very good morning to everyone. I know I may not be able to hear your good mornings, but I'm sure you can see me and you can hear my good morning. Is the chat box functional? Can somebody put a why in the chat box if you can hear me loud and clear? And
all of them are actually connected on the YouTube, and I'm getting the responses.
Okay. So maybe if I ask any question, anybody of the 15 people I can see on my screen, right? Some of them may be
Yes.
in the Zoom. So at least 1 or 2 people can respond yes, so that I'm audible, visible, so on. All right? Yes?
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
Fantastic. So ready to go. So good morning, and how is COVID-19 and the Corona period treating everyone? I'm sure in different ways, people are feeling different about it. Some people I've been talking to say this is a great opportunity for learning. Some people say that there are a lot of challenges. Some people have a lot of anxiety. There are many, many things that are going through people's minds and people's lives. And we have to make sure, my friends, that we make the best use of this period that has come into our lives, whether we like it or we don't like it. It is not in our control. What is in our control is our response to this situation that has occurred. And people who will succeed will be people who master their response to the situation, because we still don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, next week, next month. But mentally, if we are prepared, we will do a better job. So I'm going to start equipping all of you with my mantra, which I have created to live life to the hilt during these turbulent times of COVID. And that HILT formula starts with the letter H, which stands for health, I for introspection, L for learning, and T for transformation. This is going to be your master formula to help you live a better life during COVID times and also post-COVID for the rest of your life. Because if you really realize you never had so much time to take care of your health, this is the time you've got an opportunity, because all the other things that you were doing, which prevented you from exercising, which prevented you from really taking good care of your health, those things are now not taking so much of your time. And health, my friends, is not just physical fitness. I want all of us to understand Mike Tyson was a very fit person, but he was not healthy. He went and bit somebody's ears. We heard some various stories about him. Point I'm trying to make is health is a jubilant feeling of well-being at the physical, mental, emotional, social, and spiritual levels. So we've got 5 dimensions of health, and I want all of us to remember that most people in this world are weak in at least one, if not more, of those 5 dimensions. This is the time to repair. This is the time to rejuvenate. This is the time to make sure that whichever area of health we are weak in, we become better and more equipped to deal with the challenges of life. Physical aches and pains, do something about it. Mental focus and concentration, not very good, work on it. Emotionally, you're getting very angry and upset and irritated pretty fast, work on it. Socially, you have people whom you don't get along with. This is the time probably to connect back with them. And spirituality is not about religion. We are all made up of body, mind, and spirit. So H stands for health. And in doing the HILT formula, you will have to master your time. Whatever I'm asking you to do will only happen if you manage and master your time well. Because you master your time, you master your life. You waste your time, you waste your life. My request to everyone is, this is the time where you should not feel that I've got some extra hours so I can just lay back and sleep more, get up late in the morning, sleep very late in the night. All these things are going to upset. In fact, this is the time to make sure that you have the best health possible, best timings possible, more discipline than ever before, because if you do that, you will find that you are better equipped to meet with these challenges that COVID may throw. If your immunity is good, your lifestyle is good, you will be more protected, than if you really reduce your immunity and your lifestyle. So, health. The next point is introspection. This is the time, because you always say we never had time to introspect. We never had time to be aware. We never had time to think of other things than our routine studies and the day-to-day existence. This is the time when you can, even 15 minutes if you want every day, just sit with yourself, be by yourself. And in that space, you will have questions, you will have answers. They'll be coming to you, and you will be able to find, in the calmness of your mind, you will find the answers to questions which you could never find when you were actually so busy in the outer world. When the outer world is now not accessible to you, this is the time to access your inner world. Go within. Ask yourself, what is my purpose of life? What do I want to do really with this beautiful gift of life? Do I just want to waste it? Do I want to fritter it? Or do I want to do something so constructive that at the end of, towards the end of my life, I don't have a life of regrets. I have a life where I feel very nice, very good, and people have benefited. There are 4 L's, my friends, that you should always remember. 1, you must live a life. 2, you must learn in life. 3, you must love in life. And 4, you must leave a legacy behind when you leave your life. If you remember these 4, just find out what I can do on this on a regular basis. You will create an awesome life for yourself. So that is introspection. The 4 L's are very important. L stands for learning now. I go a little deeper into it because, again, I think the previous speaker also mentioned that this is the time to learn your soft skills. This is the time to actually go and do things that you could not learn. And all of this, a lot of it is happening online, so you don't really have to go outside. Become a learner all your life. I did my MBA from the US, but I give myself a degree which says LLL, lifelong learner. I never used to do a lot of online webinars and stuff, but now I'm on online 14, 15 hours a day doing webinars for people and participants from all over the world. So learning is going to be important because the learned live in the world of yesterday. It's the learners who live in the world of tomorrow. And I'm sure you young people, you are all wanting to live in the exciting world of tomorrow. I always believe there is no better time to live than now. This is the time. This is where technology is there. This is there where everything is a level playing field for everybody. Knowledge used to be in the hands of a few people earlier. Today, knowledge is available because of Professor Google. Everything is available online. You can endlessly learn, and in that process of learning, you will decide what will be the impact that you make in the world with whatever you have learned. I had industries of my own. I sold them off, my stakes in those industries, so that I can spend the rest of my life in motivating, training people worldwide so that they can become better at whatever they are, and first of all, become better human beings. We are all human beings. We are not human doings, and we are not human havings. But all the earlier time was all about what can I have for myself? What can I do for myself? And we forget and forgot the concept of what kind of a person should I be? If you focus on the being, the doing and having will automatically take care of yourself. But if you focus on having more, doing only, without the center focus of being, you will find that you will struggle in what you want to have and what you want to do. So my request is, this is the time to learn the soft skills. T stands for transformation. If you take care of your health, if you introspect, and if you learn, it will lead to a transformation in your life. Not a change, but a transformation. And transformation is, as we all know, much bigger than change. So are we ready to transform ourselves? Are we ready to transform the way we were living? Are we ready to transform our lifestyles? Who says the lifestyle that we spent earlier was the best lifestyle? It was the lifestyle that was affecting Mother Earth. It was the lifestyle that was polluting the world. It was a lifestyle that really was a westernized lifestyle that came into our lives, thinking that whatever America and Europe does is what we should imitate and follow. And we lost in that process what the Indian culture that we had so rich and so full of life, where we had gurukuls, where the guru was not just a teacher who spoke, but the guru who lived the life that he wanted his gurus, his shishyas to live. And in that process, he transferred life lessons in a very natural way. We've lost that, unfortunately. I hope that this is the time when we will be able to go back to these things and pick it up in a very big way. Make sure that you do not get into now peer pressure. Look at your life, introspect, and say, with the time of my life, these are the things I want to do. So I'm going to leave with you 4 Ds, my friend, as a parting gift. I see it's 11:47, so I've got maybe 3-4 minutes more with you. And the first D is decide your goals. Based on whatever I've told you, please decide what your personal, career, educational goals are. You could also decide what your health goals are, what your relationship goals are. You can decide goals in all the important areas of your life. Because if you decide your goals, then managing your time becomes easier. And the question you can always ask when an activity you're about to do, is it in line with my goals? Will it help me fulfill my goals? Or will it take me away from my goals? If it's taking you away from your goals, do not do it. Next, diagnose your current time utilization. For 1 week, if you can, from a Monday to Sunday, write down how you spent your time. Where did it go? From the morning time you wake up till the time you go to sleep at night, write everything that you did and put a quantified figure to it. So much time, so many minutes. At the end of 1 week, 168 hours, total everything up, and you will find that, oh, you spend so much time on TV, you spend so much time on sleeping, you spend so little time on exercise, you spend so little time on real good learning. You will discover it. And that discovery will help you for the next week to make changes in your timetable. Unless we are aware, we just don't do things differently. And Albert Einstein had said, if you keep doing things the way you were doing, you will keep getting the same results you were getting. You want different results, you must learn to do things differently. And finally, the third point, D, is delete all your time wasters. Find out what your time wasters are and be very ruthless in chopping them off. A little bit is okay, but not too much. When I was in the US, I was doing my MBA, studying there. I mean, it was so attractive to go and watch 100 channels at that time. I'm talking about more than 30 years ago. And no, but I had the discipline. And the discipline was what? Every Sunday, and there was no internet, there were no mobiles. We got that in the newspaper, the weekly television channels and what was showing. I would look at my own schedule. I was a teaching assistant. I was vice president of the International Students Association. I was pursuing my MBA. So I was doing a lot of things. So I made sure that I looked at a right timetable and found out that, hey, listen, this is the time slots that are okay for me to watch television. I would mark out those 2-3 hours in the entire week and made sure I never did any channel surfing. I stopped at those 30 minutes or 40 minutes or an hour, whatever I decided of a particular show that I wanted to see, and that's it. Be ruthless in doing that. And finally, do it now. Do it now. Whatever you decide, do it now. The biggest problem in time management is people procrastinate. We say we'll start from tomorrow, and that tomorrow never comes. And you know that if you don't do things now, you cannot win in life. Because if you reverse the word now, you get WON, won. So my request to all of you, if you want to really win in life, start doing things now. And the last thing I want to leave with you is a bonus item. It's what I love to do because I believe that laughter energizes us. Laughter makes us feel better. Laughter produces endorphins in our body, which are natural mood elevators and painkillers. There are not many people who laugh enough. Forget laughing, some people don't even smile enough, right? So from today, I request you, if you have a problem of laughing loudly in home or wherever you are. Obviously, you can't laugh maybe in the classroom, wherever you go later on in the physical classrooms, but you can laugh in one room in your home, which is called the bathroom. And every morning when you go for your bath, all you need to do is just do this silent laughter. So nobody outside your home or the bathroom also knows if you feel that somebody at home will sort of criticize you, right? So I'm going to do it 5 times. If you can see me and do it wherever you are, wonderful. Then follow my instructions. And with that, we will be closing the session. So everybody breathe in. This was a trial round. After this, we'll do it 5 times. Remember, I'm not making a sound. It's low sound or no sound is preferred. And you're just doing it 5 times. With me, I'll count to 5. Breathe in first time. That's 1. 2. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. That's 5. Now place your left hand on your chest, close your eyes, and observe your breathing. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. And you're feeling good. And remember, people who feel good about themselves produce good results in their lives. So get in touch with this feeling on a regular basis. Smile more often. Laugh more often. Be sincere in life, but never be serious in life. Seriousness is boring, dull, and dry. Sincerity has the element of seriousness to get the work done. And you have to be sincere in life to get the best out of life. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. And as you can see, I've managed my time well. It's 11:53. I hope you had a wonderful session. Wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much, Nikhil. You always inspire people and you really master on the time. Thank you so much for your enlightening session. And I'm sure people would be joining you on more on your webinars, the one that you always keep on sharing with us. And I'm getting lots of comments on the WhatsApp, on the mails, as well as on the YouTube, that it was a lovely session. And everyone is complaining that it is a very short session, but I cannot help.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm going to do one thing. If people want to attend my webinars, I'm just going to give them an email ID where they can, and a WhatsApp number. And if they say ping me or email me, we will send them more details about any webinars that they could possibly attend. And that is here.
Yeah, please do so.
It's on the WhatsApp chat. I don't know if that also goes out on YouTube. Does it go there?
Yes, it will go.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you so much, Nikhil, for your time. And in the meanwhile, we have, our speakers for the panel discussion ready. I will take a minute's time from you to ensure that there are some awards which have to be given for the Excellence Awards. So, Nikhil, I know you've been kind enough to sign the certificates from the Center of Excellence. So I'm just putting it on the screen, and I would request you to take the names of these people and felicitate them. So the first award goes to the Emerging Entrepreneurship Awards. And, this goes to 2 young chaps who have started from class 12, and they thought of this COVID situation and started with a small, unit called Young Entrepreneur Nexus. So this is presenting you Siddharth and Mrinang, who have started with the Young Entrepreneur Nexus. So your kind words, Nikhil, to them.
Oh, congratulations, Siddharth. You are doing a wonderful job. And I just wish you that you carry on what you have started and take it to a big level in the times to come. Wish you all the very best, Siddharth.
Thank you. So moving on to the next award, this is for the digital services, user-friendly digital services. Nowadays, everything is going digital. And this goes to Mr. Uday N. Jha from Digital Business Media.
Excellent. Uday, you will be in big demand. Digital is the way to go, right? So I'm glad that this certificate of achievement has come to you at the right time. I hope that you will definitely make a big impact in the world, not just in India, but in the world with your abilities in this space of digital marketing and digital business.
Thank you. So moving on, again, we have got so many people in the digital thing, but we have picked up the best, whichever was the nomination. Moving on to the next award, this is an Entrepreneur Award. This person is really doing something on the, social impacting with the spirituality. None other than Mr. Maitreya, who is from Soul Searchers.
Congratulations, Mr. Maitra. I'm so happy that you're doing what you're doing because Martin Luther King had said, man has made great technological progress and that is good, but his inner progress has not kept pace with technological progress. As a result, we have guided missiles but misguided men. And it is people like you who are guiding men to their true path. So congratulations on receiving this award, Maitra.
Moving on to the next one. This young guy has actually helped us to focus a lot on the digital marketing thing, and he's a speaker also. He actually helps startups to give a friendly services. None other than Sushnato Datta.
Sushnato Datta, what a Bengali name, right? And people in Bengal are known for their intelligence, their intellect, very, very powerful intellect. And I'm so happy that Chipin Marketing Private Limited is helping the startups with whatever you're doing, because it's the startups that make India, right? We are different from the developed countries where there are only big companies that rule the economy. We are a country of startups. So congratulations, Shushnato, for doing a wonderful job in this field.
Moving on to someone who actually creates the designs and the creatives for most of the events and most of the magazines like PNM. Then, you have Diplomat, there are agro-business and everything. None other than Atul Puri. I'm so sorry, this name has gone wrong. It's Atul Puri from ALT Enterprises.
Wonderful. Atul Puri from ALT. Congratulations. Because it is so important nowadays that your design and creative is going to capture the attention. People's attention spans have become very small, and therefore the design and creative plays a very big role. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Moving on to the next category. This is an out-of-box creative because they have started with a virtual school directory. And these are the two promoters, Mr. Sunny Rathore and Kranti Prahashar from Best Schools Near Me.
Very good. Congratulations, Sunny. School directory, Best Schools Near Me is something that I'm sure would be very valuable for everyone to find out. And it's amazing that you have created something which will be accessible to others and be very useful to them. Congratulations.
So moving on to the next category. She's a lady from the Northern Belt, where in Panipat, Kanal and other places, she's doing the career counseling and impacting children. None other than Nishita Khungar from Jagriti Foundation.
Very good, Nishita. Congratulations on everything that you do. There are more and more people needed like you to make a difference in this country. And may your Jagriti Foundation make people's lives definitely far more fulfilling and far more happy because of your interventions in their lives. Wish you all the very best.
So moving on to Mithile Sharma, he is an educator and he teaches students for the IIT, JEE and the class students. And Mithile Sharma is from Mumbai, your place.
Oh, very good, Mumbai Kar. But you know what, with digital now, there is no my place and your place. The world is our platform, right? So when I started my webinars 20 days, about 20 days ago in the lockdown period, I always used to say, good morning, India. And now often I have to say, good morning, world, because people are watching it. But anyway, good to have a Mumbai Kar. Mithile Sharma, congratulations. Education is so important. And I only hope and wish and pray that your quality of education will be something unique that you are giving out and not something that's so rote and boring for the students. I'm sure you're doing a wonderful job. Wish you all the best.
Moving on to someone again from the digital thing, 72 DPI Skills Private Limited. This is a lady from Bhubaneswar, none other than Soni Samal, who is getting the award for emerging entrepreneurship in the brand management.
Excellent, Soni. Bhubaneswar, I love that place. I used to come there to do programs for NALCO, National Aluminium Company, right? One of the large Indian PSUs. But wonderful, Soni. I wish you all the best, and may you win many more.
Thank you so much, Nikhil, for being with us and felicitating the people, motivating them with your kind words. I can see the chat, I can see the YouTube thing where people are sending thanks to you. And thank you so much for your time. Not wasting much of your time, I would request all the panelists from the school one to join me on the chat. Thank you once again, Nikhil, for your time and the mastery of the time. So let me welcome Miss Aparna Magi from Ramagya Schools, Ramagya Group of Schools, Mr. Ananta Krishna from Calorex Group of Schools, and Miss Mamta Sakya, someone who doesn't need a recognition because she is a 100 influential person who has joined us, and she is from Mahathi Foundation. May I have all the three of you on the video, please? Okay, perfect. So I would welcome all three of you, Ananta, Mamta ma'am, Aparna ji, every one of you. And this is a panel which is actually watched by so many, educators, principals, everyone at this moment of time, because they are actually keen to know what is the global impact of COVID on this particular situation. So I would go in a manner, wherein I would like to have the rural area first touched by Ms. Mamta, who is from Mahathi Foundation, followed by Mr. Ananta, who would be touching upon the non-metro thing, and the third one would be Aparna ma'am. So this is a series that I am going to ask you the questions. And the first question comes is, how the COVID-19 pandemic has thrown the education around the world in a loop. So over to Mamta ma'am, and from there to Ananta, and then to Aparna. I'll mute my line here.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's sharp 12. So we shift to good afternoon from good morning. Education, not only in our country, but in the entire world has been impacted. But like Sunanda says, we work in rural India. So today I would be sharing with you how is it that children in rural India have been impacted? So Mahathi Foundation, some of you may be knowing that already. We work with underprivileged children. We not only have our own schools, Satyabhati schools, but we also work with over 800 government schools. And we also work with a lot of block education officers, district education officers, and help them with ideas and solutions to the situation they may be feeling on the ground. Now, let me paint the picture. What is happening in the villages? First thing is that forget having a personal computer. Not all parents have smartphones. We saw that the moment COVID started and children were at home, there was, and rightly so, a lot of emphasis on online education. We faced a situation because we knew that our kids belonging to underprivileged sections would not have a computer at home. Nowadays, a large section of parents do have smartphones, but not all phones, not all parents. Secondly, in villages, when you have very small kids who are dependent on their parents to help them navigate information on a phone, the parents are not that tech savvy, that they can navigate an app, they can navigate YouTube and find out what are the good online resources that can be used for the children. Third, in most of the cases, the one smartphone that is there is the family phone, which means that father needs to access it to get information, to talk to the sarpanch, to find out what's happening in the village. The family would need it to connect it with other family members. it isn't possible for a child to even use that phone continuously for long duration. Obviously, the problem gets compounded if there are siblings in the family, and you know that 2 or 3 children will have to share the same phone. Apart from that, a problem which is being faced, and I'm sure my colleagues after me will talk about it, teachers' capability to be able to deliver online education, to motivate kids, to train parents, for parents to become teachers and mentors at home. So that was a big gap, which we also face like anybody else. And lastly, unfortunately, it all started in the month of March, and the states where the new academic year would start from April and May, most of the students do not have textbooks for the coming academic year. So these are the basket of challenges which anybody who's working in rural India, be it government schools, other NGOs, are facing even today. I would like to talk about the solutions also, but I would wait for Sunanda to call me to do that. At this stage, I've just talked about, Sunanda, the kind of challenges we, government and other NGOs are facing, especially in rural India, working with underprivileged children. Thank you, Sunanda. Over to you.
Thank you, Mamtaji. I will take over to Mr. Ananta now, who would give us a non-metro outlook that how are these things happening right now at these places. Ananta, your voice is not audible.
Can you?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hear me now? Is it better?
Yeah, it's better.
As Ms. Mamta said, the situation in the urban India, the non-metros, is a little bit better than the rural India. Mobile phones are primarily available across the parent group. What was more important is the parent engagement, which schools like us, got in touch with the parents, and we did a lot of parent engagement exercises. Luckily for groups like us and a few more schools in the non-metros, we have been doing some little level of online classes earlier. So that gave us an advantage. A good number of teachers of ours had the knowledge of going online and training kids, one, and the students were also quite so tuned in with this kind of a technology. And we as a company are, we are already onto the Google platform, and we are a Google-based organization. And of course, with Zoom coming in, Zoom was adapted very easily and comfortably. Of course, we did have our share of challenges. One was, of course, the timetabling part, which is a major issue because a good number of schools of ours have a huge strength in classes, and the sections are huge. And the teachers who are comfortable with the online thing, they have to be made more comfortable. Teachers who are not comfortable had to be trained onto it. A huge level of parent interaction and engagement had to be done. What we did is we captured this situation from various fronts, right? So in the name of engagement, we induced people into talks. We induced people into academic programs. We induced people and stakeholders into edutainment, even to the level of we did musical fiesta online, and we had our parents to log in onto it. So these are basic parameters how we made a connect to the stakeholders, primarily the parents. And as Mamta ma'am said, a few challenges are here which are common to the villages. Like, for example, internet connectivity is shared across siblings. It's shared across the working parents. So ideally, if you have two working parents and two kids in the school of say grade 5 and grade 8, then all four of them are working with that one Wi-Fi internet connection that's there at home, right? So some make it a hotspot, some use the Wi-Fi, but yes, internet connectivity is to a level basic issue at certain times because you conk off with the connection, the teacher says something, it's not audible, sometimes it's repeated. So repeatability is increasing thereby, right? So that's number one. Number two, you have to go slow in terms of your curriculum content also. You can't go to the speed that you normally teach in your classroom. The classroom content has to be tailor-made to suit the 40-minute requirement, because beyond 40 minutes, the children are not engaged. They do not find it comfortable. And particularly if it's at home, the level of distraction for the kids is higher. Like some child is doing something else, some child is doing something else. So keeping them hooked onto the screen for a time beyond 40 minutes is again a challenge. So there again, the student engagement with the teachers through WhatsApp groups and repeated sending circulars and information, and keeping them giving them homeworks and assignments. So these are all continuing. So yes, it's been a good learning experience for all of us, and as things are changing, this would be the new system probably from now on. So we have to really gear up in terms of how do we use online studies and education to a greater extent in the coming days. So and it seems so in the current situation that we are facing, like a city in Ahmedabad where many of our schools are there. It's a big time hotspot today in terms of COVID-19. So we definitely do not see the schools coming up before, opening before June or July, maybe probably. So online has to carry on for a good amount of time. And even when things go better and the things normalize, I think online should be the way of education going forward, mixed with the orthodox way of classroom teaching. So that's what is our understanding, and we are gearing ourselves up accordingly. Yeah. So, Sunanda?
It's the turn of Aparna ji to, yeah, I'm there. It's the turn of Aparna ji to give the metro view that what is happening.
Yes, Sunanda, I'm there. And my heart goes out to what I was listening to Mamta ma'am, and heard her about the rural things, because looking at the situation there and then to listen to Mr. Ananta and see the situation that that is going on in our two-tier cities and how people are coping. So it is very much similar to what is happening in the urban side, Sunanda, that I can see. Here, what is happening is, I feel that the most important thing is that we are coming out of our ostrich-like behavior. What we have, we are finally coming out of the sand and realizing that how much technology is all around us, which we never bothered about before. And in the urban cities, I can just tell you, the situation is not about some new innovations. Here, the situation is that we need to discover all the innovations which have already been there. A lot has been happening in educational field where technology has been concerned. So many new things are coming, so many new ways, like B2C technologies already too much there with Byju's and other such similar things going straight from the product maker to the students. It's happening a lot, and a lot of parents are taking it and working on it. So technology as such is not new. We all already had it, but we never realized that how important it is and how much it is going to help us. Most of us have not done that. And when this situation has come, now everybody is going for technology, and schools in urban areas are very well equipped with things like we have in Ramagir School Genius Corner, which is an online assessment which we have been using. So assessment is not a problem for us, right? Because we already are used to, children are already used to the system and doing online assessments. Same way we have Viative Lab in the school, where virtual learning is 3D virtual learning is also part of normal school education. So now they are doing this sitting at home. So these things, these facilities are already there with the children studying in good schools and studying in the urban area. But the only thing I feel that the problems we are facing is this, that our biggest workforce, if I tell you, the teachers. So what we are facing is that many times we have trained our teachers good enough, like they are doing they are used to smart boards, they're used to that particular technology. But when it comes to online, as I told you, we have this ostrich-like thing that, okay, I think I know it, but there's no need for me to use it. And when something suddenly comes in front of us, the first thing we do is we go a step back and think, okay, how will I manage this? But now when everybody is working, I have to salute the silent warriors, the teachers, who have come out in a big way and are going online, working extra hard for it, and making sure that this technology is reaching everybody, and the teachers are training themselves very well. In the end, we know that after the rain comes the rainbow, and tough times do not last, but tough people do. Right? So we all are going through a change, we are learning, and this learning is good for us. And I think we can face this challenge. The only thing my thinking now is how can we do it in the rural areas? All my focus has gone there, that what can be done. And Mamta ma'am, I'm there. And I would love to be with you. And if there's anything that we can do, I'll definitely contact you. And any way we can do something, we'll do. Because yet each house, each home is very technology advanced in urban areas. In fact, the children also, when they reach from the age of like when they're in class 6, 7, the parents give them a smartphone these days. Many times it is like this in many homes. So in a home, you will find 3, 4 smartphones. In a home, you have laptops. In the home, you have systems. Mother is using, father is using, the elder brother, sisters are using, right? So a lot of facilities like this is present in the urban areas. And the only point is that we have not been using it. We were taking it for granted. We were not getting well acquainted with it. And we were thinking that, oh yes, I know this. And let's see, when the time comes, I will learn it. So the time has come. This is the time. And now the learning has begun. And we know that whatever the situation, if you look at the situation, this is not going to end. The lockdown can get over any day, but then also the situation is not going to change. It's a long way that we have to go. This COVID-19 situation is something that it can go on for a year or more so till we have a vaccine. And we come to a normal form. Till then, we have to do a lot of thinking to how the schools are going to run now. When the government gives us a go-ahead, okay, that you can open the school, then opening the school also, there are so many norms which are going to change. How many children per classroom, right? That has to be rethought about. And like normally in CBSE, we have this that for per child, there should be 1 square meter of area, right? This is how we count the room and the space. Now, I think we have to go to a concept of at least 2 square meter area of each child. So things like this have to be thought of, and things I'm sure that CBSE is working and other boards are also working very hard on it. There are a lot of meetings, a lot of webinars which are going. We all are on webinar shows that we are fighting it, and we are facing the challenge very well. I feel like that.
Great views, Aparna ji, Ananta, and Mamta ji. Now I move on to, we have spoken about the challenges. Now I would like to know more, what is the way ahead and what are the solutions for it? I'm getting lots of questions on the YouTube, but I would take only one question at the last so that the other panel can start after this. But we would like to now hear the solutions. We have been hearing a lots of challenges. And in fact, one of the comments that has come is parents are thinking that the online thing is all gimmick, mazak hai, nautanki hai, and everything. You know, we get so many comments on that. So starting from your challenges to way forward is, so I will go in the same series, Mamta ji, Ananta ji, and Aparna ma'am.
So, you know, while I painted the picture and it wasn't easy for us, but I'll tell you that within 48 hours, the kind of solution the team and the teachers came up with really took my breath away. So, you know, what started happening, our teachers started forming class-wise WhatsApp groups, okay? Today we have almost 65 to 70% of our parents covered in WhatsApp groups. So class 1 has its own WhatsApp group, class 2 has its own, and understand we have nearly 200 schools, right? So that's 1,000, most of them are primary schools. So first thing was to start forming WhatsApp groups. Secondly, since summer holidays were about to come, so our summer holiday, the holiday homework was kind of already ready. You know, children were caught in the middle of their final exams. So first thing that teachers did was immediately share the holiday homework so that students get onto it. And I found it so much heartwarming that our teachers, these are rural teachers, okay? They're not, I mean, you can't match them on their passion and commitment. Of course, they're not as well trained as city teachers would be. Our teachers started making videos, you know, so they will teach a concept in their house and like a class form, they will make a video, and they started sending small videos to those parents. There are a lot of parents who cannot read. So while they're sending the assignment for the day or assignment for the week, our teachers started also sending voice notes, you know, so that parents who can't read can at least hear that what the child has to do. The parents who did not have a smartphone, our teachers are making personal calls, you know, to tell them that what is it, what is that the child has to do. We're very project focused. Fortunately, we always give a workbook to our children. So last academic year's workbook was with children, and when it's an extra workbook, not all pages are filled. So our teachers started giving a lot of assignments from there and a lot of project-based work. Our curriculum team came up with a very good strategy. They said children staying at home should not lose the learning levels that they have attained, which is the biggest. In cities, parents set up tuitions and children are constantly learning, but that's not what happens in the villages. So we started focusing on the textbooks that children had to make sure that they are revising those so that learning level attainment does not fall down. The second strategy was they identified the concepts that have to be strengthened so that when the next academic year starts, the base concepts are clear. So if you have to do double-digit multiplication later, make sure that single-digit multiplication is strong in all the children. So the training and curriculum team identified the concepts of the current year to make sure that those concepts are strengthened. They also came up, using the existing chapters. How do you train children on the next level of skill? So, okay, you've read the chapter, now write the chapter in your own language, right? Or summarize the chapter. What have you learned? So we've now created little exercises where we're using the textbooks that are there with children, but helping build next level of skills in children. Online books are available, but what we are doing is currently just picking up one chapter so that it becomes a very small file and sending one first chapter of next academic year to start with that slowly. And I know that teachers are making so much of effort calling those parents who don't have a smartphone, that if the elder brother, chacha, taya, because villages also have joint families, So if somebody in the joint family has a smartphone, so those people are being brought online. We're doing a lot of teachers training. Although our teachers are using their creativity, they're reaching out to children. Our teams are finding out the free resources that are available online, and those government has also done a very good job. So we're using Diksha platform, we're identifying good pieces from there and sending it to teachers. So we've, so far, given the fact that we're in the villages, I would say 85 to 90% of the students and parents, and you will be so surprised, I get these screenshots. After the children have done the homework, the parent takes a photograph, sends it on the WhatsApp for teachers to check, So it is so energizing to see how much parents are getting involved in their children's studies, because, they value education. And for them, it is very important that if an institution is spending so much of time, and if teachers are spending so much of time checking each WhatsApp and checking each homework through WhatsApp, they're participating fully. So I think we're blessed, given the fact that we had so many challenges. Even in government schools, our experiences are similar. We've got same kind of WhatsApp groups formed, and a motivated teacher is a motivated teacher. Whether in the village or in urban India, and a motivated teacher can truly turn this situation around. So
very well said. Very well said, Mamtaji. Now I'll move on to Ananta. Apart from the ones that Mamtaji has already shared, what are the best practices? What is a new thing? I can see Talks. There are other things which are coming up from your end. I keep on receiving the messages from you and your school principals. So please share what are the unique things that you're doing and what is the way ahead and solutions on it.
What we've done is we have a very strong enrollment and motivation program for all our stakeholders. So at a school level, we are doing talks and knowledge increase sessions, and we call in various dignitaries across various fields to talk to our parents and do some level of activity with the parents, with the mothers, with the fathers, right? So ultimately, it's all about education and what should we do in this time of COVID to bring in a better education and work towards in a cohesive manner for the betterment of the students and the teachers. So that is the kind of engagement that we do on a daily basis. Every school Facebook has some kind of live event with some celebrity doing it daily from the school's end. Then at a national level, we have brought in K-Talk. K-Talk is Calorex Talks, wherein the national level celebrities from education and other fields, they come on live on the Facebook platform again. So we're using Facebook here as a platform. Like the first session was by Dr. Senthil Kumar. He's an ex CI, director quality of institute, and he runs the learners conference today. A very senior guy in education. Then we had Mr. Bhavin Shah.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So apart from K-Talk, is there any other thing, Ananta, that you guys are doing?
We are also doing infotainment. We understand that it's all monotony sets in if you're doing only education. So we're doing infotainment. We are bringing in various musical fiestas. We are bringing in the local and the cities, I should say, singers and performers and orchestra players. So this is also something that we are doing it onto a weekly, twice basis. There's a program that happens every Saturday and Sunday. Again on Facebook, it's a 1 hour live infotainment program, right? So these are things that we're doing. Apart from that, every school it has a very stipulated syllabi, curriculum to be covered, and they're doing all the online education on a daily basis. Then for learners of language, we have at a corporate level, we have introduced something called as, like for example, our major schools are in Ahmedabad. So non-Gujarati learners can learn the language Gujarati. So we are teaching Gujarati online as again a subject. If
Wonderful,
whoever wants to
wonderful.
join into that, join in. So we are tackling it in such a way that we are leaving no particular area unturned. May it be education, may it be infotainment, may it be increasing your knowledge and awareness. So we have engagement programs for students, teachers, and parents across all these segments, all these elements, very clearly chalked out in the form of curriculum and timetable, and everything is being given either through Zoom or through Facebook or through WhatsApp. So the platforms have been kept very
That's
simple.
really good, Ananta. I will stop here on your talk. That's the reason why, Calorex Ahmedabad has received this award of the online thing. Let's move on to the next speaker who has also received an award for the online education. Let's understand from her what exactly they are delivering different, why they have been chosen as a, awardee.
Sunanda, I think I was so passionate about it that I spoke a lot of things beforehand only, which I should have spoken now. But still, I would like to say a very important thing, Sunanda, and everyone, that the most important thing that I thought that during this period, as an educational group that we realized is the mental health of everyone. Right? What is happening that the situation is very bad when everybody is totally isolated and at home. So we have a very special Bal Sathi program, which we normally run in the school also, where our counselors are talking to children and they take workshops with the children in the class. Now, the same thing using the Zoom platform or any other platform like that, we have shifted the thing at home. So now children are getting the same workshops about how to keep themselves busy, occupied, and if they have any problem at home, they are facing problems at home. Like 4 people are in a small nuclear family, if you see, that people going out for work, children going out to play, the things are not happening as they are supposed to be. And for some time, we really enjoy it. Okay, fine, we are at home and all those things, but it does not happen all the time. So the Bal Sathi team is, the counselors are taking workshops on Zoom, and we are using Facebook also for this to know that. And the most important thing that we have opened this Bal Sathi counseling for parents also. And if parents have something that they want to talk about and they want to talk to a counselor, so they can take an appointment with the counselor. We have given them hours, that these are the hours for parents to be counseled, because that is also happening a lot in the families. Because just imagine the scene when everybody is used to going out. So this is one thing that we have started and which is going on very well, and we are getting very much appreciated by the parents. So how to learn in this atmosphere with each other and be mentally fit and not get affected so much by what's happening around us, and be fit to handle the things that we are going through right now. So this is what we are doing about it, mental health. Then we have for teachers, that as I told you that finally now we are getting the proper training that we should have done before. right? So, but we are doing it, and what we have done, we are using our students. And mostly the 12th class, which is right now nowhere. Some exams have been done, and some exams of the children are and all, because children, I think, are they are very good in IT any day. And I always tell the teachers that if you want to teach them something, you have to be 2 steps ahead than them, which normally does not happen. They're much ahead than us when technology is concerned. So children are going and using the platforms and teaching teachers how to how to use the things better, how to become more technologically advanced. So all the teachers have the times with the students. And so it is the other way around between teachers and students. This is one thing which is helping the students a lot. They are busy, they're doing something, and they are feeling very good. Yes, they are doing something for the teachers. There's something teaching the teachers, and teachers are feeling very proud that yes, yesterday they were teaching them in the class, and now they're helping them in the technology part. So that is one thing we have done. And again, the most important, we have come up with evening classes, because all the time studies are not very good because you're already isolated. So in the evening, we have classes on music and art and sports. We are every day on 1 hour sports period, like we normally have in the school. And the sports teachers are there through Zoom. They are teaching children the exercises. Children are making videos and sending it, and making sure that all these things happen. So now we are having an inter-house music competitions. We are having through this, teachers are doing selections, teaching children. Parents are helping. So it is like this. And yes, I know for parents, it's not very easy. Let's try and understand that they are feeling that the entire burden of this thing, monitoring the child, has come on them. Pehle hota tha ki, okay, the children are going to the school and teacher is doing that part of monitoring the child for those many hours. But that is not happening now. So parents really feel this particular thing, that they are totally they are burdened by this, what is happening. But yes, so we have to bear it with them. We have to bring them to a proper disposition that yes, it is something we have to face, and we are at home, so we all can get it done. So this is the situation we are doing. So this is all we are trying to do. Music, sports, every way that we are possible, and getting a lot of motivational speakers. And I'm sure I'm going to use Mr. Nikhil Desai, and I'm going to make sure that he speaks to my children.
Absolutely. Generally when a career hackathon happens, we ensure that we don't do any sponsorship events. For one reason, everyone brag about their quality things. Yes. But when we pick up the speakers, we ensure that the speakers are there who are really valuing, adding the value. I'm sure after this, Dr. Anju is also going to tell you that how she emotionally she's helping people. Nikhil has already helped, and Gina is there. Thank you so much for Mamta ji, Ananta, and Aparna ji. I'm so sorry I'm giving you a very short time, but as it is a virtual event, people keep on coming, growing. So we don't want to lose that. So moving on to a very important segment wherein careers, how technology is disrupting. So Dr. Blossom Kochar, who is from Beauty and Wellness, and Dr. Vishal, who is the Dean of BML Manjar, they will take over now, and they will give us an insight that how technology and careers are going ahead with the COVID thing. Over to Vishal and Blossom. Thank you so much, Mamta ji, Ananta, and Aparna.
It's been a pleasure interacting with Mamta ma'am and Ananta. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to be with both of you.
Thank you. Same here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Vishal and Dr. Blossom. Dr. Vishal, Dr. Blossom, are you there?
Hi, Sunanda, can you hear me at least?
Yes, I can hear you. Let me check with Blossom. You can start with your presentation.
Sure. I just have a brief presentation. How much time do we have for ourselves?
20 minutes, both of you.
Okay. Not a problem. So I'll quickly, I'll put together some. Can you see the screen now?
See the screen.
Yeah, fine. So I think because our topic was around technology and its effect on future careers, I just culled something together, and something that might just be useful for your participants. Why do we talk about tech disruption? Of course, the fact is that tech disruptions have been happening for forever, since the first industrial revolution. The first industrial revolution, the steam engine and so on and so forth. Second revolution around the assembly line production. The third was around the computers and microchips. And the fourth, of course, is something which is a little different. I'll tell you why the difference exists. That's because till about the third industrial revolution, we were predominantly using machines to help us do our work better. right? And of course, what's happening now with the fourth industrial revolution is that the machines don't necessarily need us to do the work better. And automatically this whole thought around what Alan Turing he mentioned in 1950, can machines think? And it's obviously becoming a reality now. So the biggest difference in the fourth industrial revolution, we use terms such as additive manufacturing, we use terms such as digital manufacturing. A lot of all that basically tells us that as computing performance matches and in fact gets better than human performance, automatically there'll be a huge influx of automation. It's already happening. And with the particular crisis that we're dealing with right now, it'll only get speeded up as a process. Whether we talk about artificial intelligence, we talk about big data, we talk about machine learning, Internet of Things, biochemistry, a lot of all this, if you notice, essentially will get speeded up simply because of the kind of crisis we're currently facing, whether it is because of sustainability, whether it is because of profitability measures, whether it is about specific skills that are required by the industry. The fact is that this whole concept of exponential technologies will actually increase. Obviously, it has major implications on people, on students who will be getting into careers in the job world in the next few years. So automatically, there'll be major implications on them. So just to give you an example, we've already had scenarios where monkeys who've not been able to, for example, walk properly, are able to walk better simply because certain microchips or integrated chips that have been connected to the brains along with their spinal cords. So this has actually happened. Automatically, what's happening here is a signal that is being transferred between the microchip that is there in the back or the spinal cord of the monkey and the brain, which sends the signals which makes the monkey walk better. Similarly, scientists have used IoT, Internet of Things, to be able to make information communication or knowledge communication between rats in a particular experiment. One rat which is taught in a certain kind of way, we're aware of cognitive or Pavlovian kind of experiments. One rat was taught, and of course in the process the transfer of this particular knowledge of how to do things was transferred to another rat using the internet. Now, if these are possibilities that are already happening, that's telling us that the kind of tech disruptions that's happening in the world is going to be very, very different to what we are seeing. We already have had scenarios where we know that you can actually decide 2040 onwards, people born after 2011 will get to choose how long they actually live. In a sense, obviously, most people want to live much longer. But the fact is that because of data, because of genetics, because of genome-based studies or whatever you would like to call it, there will come a time wherein we'll also be able to play with what we call as the instruction code manual, which God has actually given us. But more importantly, if I look at it from a career standpoint, if I look at it from a standpoint of jobs, startups, entrepreneurial ventures, there are many things that will now get speeded up. One, it is already happening in the last many years, but now it will get speeded up much further because of the crisis we're currently facing. The launch of smart connected products and services, of course, something that ENY and FICCI actually talk about. The creation of highly optimized supply chains. We've seen a lot of supply chain disruption right now. We will keep on seeing that. How that will get rectified, how much time will it take is something that only time will tell. What will also be important is how soon we can get back populations to work. A lot of all that will be important. How soon can we start factories running at optimum capacities? A lot of all that will determine many things. But we are already seeing a lot of focus on e-commerce. We're already seeing a lot of focus on a more innovative supply chains. We're already seeing a lot of focus on the atomization or the newer companies or organizations or startups who are actually being able to attract a lot of venture capital money, a lot of angel investment money, a lot of business innovations. One big example, of course, is the Ola and Uber of the world, right? These are essentially aggregators. They don't necessarily own, one single taxi, but the fact is that they are, technically speaking, large taxi companies. At the same time, there is this whole idea around, how we are impacting the environment, sustainability of this environment. A lot of all this will become paramount, will become important. New work arrangements, something that we were speaking about, something that we believed was predominantly meant for, let's say, call centers or knowledge process outsourcing, companies or BPOs or whatever, has now become a reality across homes in India and abroad. The fact is that a lot of higher level work, supposedly higher level work, is actually being performed from sitting in your homes, right? So automatically that will lead to a lot of change in terms of what is in demand. Is in big office spaces, are they in demand? Are they not in demand? It will lead to a different style of leadership. Is then when you are sitting in remote locations and you're trying to manage teams across the world, it'll require very different kind of leadership qualities. Are we ready for that? Can we inculcate that in the longer term? What I'm trying to highlight here is the fact that something that, when I was much smaller than what I am right now, I used to watch a lot of Richie Rich cartoons, and there were cartoons which suggested that can somebody do my work for me? Technically speaking, because of automation, because of robotics, because of a lot of all that, that is obviously becoming a reality, but in a slightly different format. It does have implications, mind you, on everyone who's currently listening to us, especially the young students. What do they prepare themselves for? How do they prepare themselves? What careers will they actually see? So I've just created a bit of a table here, and just to give people an idea of what kind of careers they might see in the future, right? So in marketing, you might have people who are neuro A/B testers. These are people who are looking at brain mapping images, trying to understand how, let's say, people make decisions, how they actually, when they're going to a supermarket, what kind of attracts them. Many times, a lot of this research has gone to another level altogether in terms of brain scanning, brain mapping, heat mapping. And it'll be important for people not only to have, let's say, the marketing knowledge or the management knowledge, but also the tech knowledge. What we're seeing here, and if you look at this particular table, if I look at, let's say, the AI research scientists for information technology companies, or a lot of companies such as the BFSI, even there you need people who are forensic analysts, people who are blockchain architects, people who are robot programmers. All these are people who have to have a good immersion in the tech space, a good immersion in how you do coding, how do you do software programming, how do you analyze a lot of information data. It's ironical, isn't it, that as a lot of the students across the world are moving on to a lot of non-tech degrees, moving on to degrees which are not necessarily, let's say, BTech or BE, the fact is, in the longer term, a lot of tech information, tech knowledge, quantitative knowledge will be required, right? So I think this table is not there to confuse you. You'll require 3D printing engineers in the longer term. You'll require autonomous vehicle engineers. You'll require machine learning-based cybersecurity experts. A lot of all this is what is already happening, but will get further speeded up as we go along. So what should you, as young aspirants, or people who are listening at home at the current moment, taking advantage of, the current scenario, in being able to immerse in the knowledge, being able to understand what is it that I do, what is it that I should focus on? I think we'll have to focus on the analytical piece, right? It'll have to be about the analytical thinking. It'll all have to be a lot to do with the innovative nature of how you go about things. Understand meaning behind the things. Why you do what you do becomes paramount in this whole kind of scenario. I know that for a long time our systems are based around rote learning. Our systems might be based around memorization, but that's not necessarily true learning. At the same time, it has to be very, very engaged learning. It has to be very much around this whole idea of what is known as constructive learning. That becomes very important. How you have discussions, how do you have peer learning groups, how do you engage with your friends around you, how do you come up with a concept by yourself, and then maybe validate that or ask other people whether it makes sense, it doesn't make sense. It increases the depth, it increases your creativity, originality. Remember, technology is here to stay, and it will stay for a long period of time. A lot of you guys are thinking about careers for about 40, 45 years down the line. My career might end up, maybe 15, 20, whatever years. But the fact is that you have to think for the next 40 years and what will it actually look like. And, a lot of this will depend largely on your ability to be a sponge, your ability to ensure that you learn not just in class, but beyond the classroom as well. Critical thinking aspects. It's not just about problem solving, remember, it's about problem identification as well. You need to identify what problem you're trying to solve. Sometimes that also becomes an issue. I cannot stress enough on many aspects, and one of the biggest aspects for leaders of the future, for your next 40, 45 years will be communication. That will be very, very important. A lot of us have the knowledge, but sometimes a lot of us are not able to communicate that knowledge out to the external world. It is important that we are able to do that. Right. So essentially what's happening is that, there is a drive towards, as far as careers are concerned, this whole concept of the fuzziness of knowledge, or this whole idea of the qualitative appreciation of knowledge, or subjective, courses that we talk about. I think it's important that we learn all that. It is important that we learn the civilizations piece. It is important that we learn about where we're coming from. It is important we learn about economic history. But at the same time, it is also important to learn about the technology piece. Right, that's very important. So this is what I just wanted to quickly, share with you. I'll stop sharing and then come back to.
Thank you so much, Vishal. It was too much of technology thing, and starting from the monkey to the the Akis thing. Let's move on to a different sector. I'm sure male, female, everyone is affected because of this. Because of the COVID virus, salons, spa, the beauty parlors, everything is closed. So we have someone, Dr. Blossom Kocher, who is from Beauty and Wellness team, and she would actually give us that what is going to change, what is going to stay back. In fact, most of the people, they do not want to come on YouTube live or on the videos because they have grown a beard or grown up eyebrows. They are not made up, the makeup is not done well. So over to Blossom Kocher, you will have to help us. How do we survive this situation? What can we do that? Over to Blossom Kocher now.
Hi.
Hello. Yeah,
Hi.
hello.
Okay. Hello, Sunanda.
Hello, ma'am. How are you?
I'm fine, and thank you so much for inviting me on this forum. It has been
It's
really
our pleasure to have you. It's really our pleasure to have you.
And all the wonderful speakers you've had, they've been so great. And even I laughed just now before I started, so that it became, when I followed Nikhil, and the laugh was fantastic. It really, I think, makes your whole skin glow. That is one part of beauty, I think, to follow that.
Perfect. Move on.
Okay.
Let's hear it out from you, that how exactly the beauty and wellness, industry is going to change. How are the things that are going to change the price, with the prices, how the academia of beauty and culture would take place as we are going contactless. So, maybe you can just give us the brief about it.
Okay. Now, when this happened, it was so sudden, and the whole thing happened. It really caused a big disruption in the beauty salons, the spas, I think the beauty education, everything, because we are such a hands-on group of people that, we have to, it's all depending on touch and close contact. And so a lot of them, of course, they closed work, and we've had a lot, it's really sad to say, a lot of the smaller ones, they just couldn't manage with this whole thing. But what is our thing is we have to really educate them and see that they get going again. But so this has stopped. But what's going to happen is, for us just coming, there are beautiful trimmers out in the market, which you all can use for your beards. Okay. And the other things, your long hair looks beautiful. India has always been known for its wonderful long hair. So let's go with our wonderful long hair. And of course, facials can be done at home, which is very simple. And that of course, they have a lot of YouTubes and everything coming out in the net. And so they can just follow that. And of course, apart from that, exercise and all that they'll have to do at home. And I've known a lot of people who have started it, because exercise is one of the most important. Exercise, pranayam, which you have to do to keep your whole self good and your mind straight and focused. And also, we've also done yoga. Yoga is another one which I feel, and I tell everyone, go in for yoga, go in for pranayam, go in for meditation, start with 5 minutes and go further, and do walking. You can walk in your own house, I say, from this, and take away all the furniture and just keep walking. You're going to find that is going to keep you really healthy. And of course, now we are going to see how we are going. And a lot of these, the hair designers, the beauticians who are who are talented and been working in salons. They are working in salons and owning salons. They've gone on to a lot of internet and giving on this and giving all this kind of information that is there, telling people how to do it, what to do, and how to go about things. I even found someone who tells a person how to cut their own hair, which was very, very interesting, and another how to color their own hair, which is really needed. Now, apart from this industry, the beauty salons and the other things, we come on to education and skilling. That again was a big disruption because we have about 8,500 hours to, 80%. We can say 80% is practical and 20% or 25% you can say is theory. Now, how are we going to deal with that? So there again, we went on the net. It's all happening on the net. Now, I can tell you how I did it in my college, which was really simple. When we knew this was coming, straight away, we went on net and we said our education has to go on net. We got the teachers, educated them, by our IT person, how to do this. It took us a few hours, so it's not very difficult. And they went on net so that we didn't want to. And I think it's not just me, I think it's the whole industry and all the beauty and wellness who are there. They did the same thing because from that, what happened is they didn't want to disrupt the education. But of course, and now about technology, and so they are doing their education normally. What we found, but if the teachers and any of are not very, you can say very excited or can interact with the students properly, because they can't see them so much, but they try. And you'll find that is what was making it a little boring. And so we were saying that they have to do the education. They have to give them quizzes so that we know that they are listening and engaged. They were given papers also. They had to answer questions and MCQs, which so made them and us realize they were very good. And all the other thing was games, because a thing is not complete without games. So that was fine. Then how are we going to do the other part of it? So that we were hoping the lockdown will get over and we can start, but I don't think this is going to get over for a long time. So I feel we are going to have to even do, seminars and things in front of the hairdressers and this. We have to engage them. Maybe we can engage them in hair shows, in fashion shows, in other things, so we can see how they are putting whatever they've learned into perspective. So that is the other that we're doing. But to say what is happening, because one thing in education, I feel someone can listen to something or do something, see 20 minutes, that's what we were taught. After 20 minutes, you have to change. You either have to give a demo or you have to do something else or do a quiz, because your mind just concentrates and focuses for that time. So that was the other. It taught us a whole lot of stuff. And the other thing that was taught to us was that, you've got to do a thing with seeing, hearing, and kinesthetic. So kinesthetic was they could get their mother or they could get anyone there so that they could do whatever we've learning, they could do it themselves. But this, I think, is a wonderful idea. It's opened our minds. It's made us learn, which is a fantastic thing. It's challenged us. How are we going to do this thing? Like we discovered, eyebrows are going to be very difficult, and the threading. So the best thing would be maybe plucking, maybe teaching them how to do their own threading, or even threading, doing a different form of threading where you don't go too close to a person. So all this, and then makeup. Makeup is also going to change. We're going to get onto more eye makeup than anything else because we're wearing all these masks. And I feel the masks are going to be really something else. They're going to be fashion, and the eye makeup will have to be matching with that. So eye makeup is going in. And I suggest to all these who are locked down to go into these, watch all these webinars in the net. How do you do your eye makeup? How do you do your little kind of, makeup for yourself, so that it's going to really help you. Because one thing in this time, we all have to, feel good to look good. Okay, or look good to feel good, and we all need to feel good at this time. So we need to do a thing like this. And with all this that's going on, but for the future, what I think is going to come to robots, which have already started. In fact, they had already started when I was at an international exhibition. We had this where they thought the robot was cutting the hair. The other thing is the robot picks out exactly what hair color you need, and that is fantastic. Really, the robot will pick out, you just have to put in a bit of your hair, and the robot will tell you what are the colors. So there again, we have robots. We have robots who can do quite a lot of things. In fact, I was looking at that picture before, and it was a lot of robots working on the hair and beauty industry, which I was quite excited about. So that is how we are going to do. And I think, and then the other one, which is a good point for us to learn, is to get for the education, is to get in the foreign people, because now with the internet, it is there. We don't have to spend for them to come to your country and to give a workshop and to speak. It is all on the net. You can just get them on the net. So this is something that is there, but I think we have to go on, learning a little more and seeing a little more. Now, what is going to happen with the industry is all left for us to see, because like I said, this is a feel and touch industry. But the other thing, those who have gone back, the migrant workers also, it was very interesting that we can teach them on the phones, and at the time when they are available on a phone, because that is really going to help them, because they are out of jobs. They can learn. And this is one thing, once you learn a skill, you are with that skill. You may not use it now. There were so many students that had that they learned, but they've not used it. But at some time they wanted to use it, and it just came back with a little refresher. So this is a skill for that. This is a skill you can work as an entrepreneur for yourselves, which is really wonderful. So I'm seeing what's the future. I mean, it's sad what is happening now to the whole industry, but I'm sure they will have to now come together, put their wits together, and really see how they can do. Because this is a beautiful industry, and I really love it. And I think a lot love it.
Absolutely, Dr. Blossom. This is a beautiful industry, and we are really missing the touch and feel of the beauty and wellness partners. And, this was the time when people used to relax, they rejuvenate themselves. I'm sure, where there is a will, there is a way. Until the pandemic is going down and everyone is safe, I'm sure by the time you, VLCC and other players would come out with something really wherein we can do a user-friendly thing. Like, PCO was previously there. Now on the mobile touch, we can see each other. And see, you are at your institute and I'm at my home, and we are running this career hackathon. So sure, this technology is going to take over. Vishal, very nice inputs that were given by you. There are so many other questions which are coming, but in the capacity of time that we have actually set for, so I would rest your panel here. And beautiful insights from both you and Vishal. He was giving everything on the technology, that how technology is changing the career, and you have given a niche perspective that how beauty and wellness is going to make a makeover to this with the technology. Thank you so much, Vishal. Thank you so much, Dr. Blossom.
Thank you.
Okay, so Vishal, are you there? Yeah. Okay. So
and thank you so much.
Pleasure is all ours. And everyone is actually sending me the messages that the sessions are very short. They are very effective speakers, but you are giving them a very short span. We cannot help it. Over to Anju Chawla, Dr. Anju Chawla, who is going to help us on the emotional thing. So Anju, before you start with your presentation, which I'll be uploading from my end, I would request you to take people through various things that you are listening right now from the various forums, and what exactly is that today's need as an emotional coach that you feel. And I'm sure lots of principals are watching you. They would be giving you a complete insight that what are they looking from you. So over to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sunanda. What an engrossing format. First thing first, completely engrossed. I'm like zapped. I want to get up from the seat, but I'm not able to get up from the seat. And a big high five to everyone. Smile, because we are on Zoom. Huh? Not just because we are on Zoom, but smile covers smiles. And this is perhaps the only way we can say a warm hi to each other. So a high five. And thank you, Mamta ji, Aparna ji, Anantha ji, and many educators like them. In fact, Nikhil sir, what beautiful insights. I mean, I am so charged up that yes, students are not alone. It's not only government which is taking care of us, even the educators are so sincere.
Anju, there is no voice, I believe. People are sending me the message. Anju, I believe we lost Dr. Anju here. We will do one thing until she rejoins back. Let's go to Anju. Are you there? Can you please send us a message? I think there is a technical hitch. We're sorry for that. So Vishal, there is one question that I have received from people that, one thing is that when you have shared that these things are going to come up and how technology is going to shape up. So one of the student has asked that how is it that, since they are from class 12th and majority of the students are from class 12th who are attending this, they are in mid of soup because half of the exams have happened. They don't know the first year of the entrance exam have happened, whether they are going to have the second one or not. So if you can just enlighten us with the details so that they can actually view, hear to your advice that what should they do at this moment of time, and how do they approach for the college admission or for the entrance exam.
So I think my advice here would be that if there is yes, it's uncertain times, and at the same time there are issues in terms of middle of the exams, or exams will start earlier. But the fact is that I know that some of the exams will take place in June. Let's say for CLAT, for example, the law examinations. That will happen in June. I know JEE Advanced will also happen around that time. So one fact is that a lot of the university admissions might actually get slightly delayed. One is that. So I would assume that a lot of the universities might open up at the undergrad level sometime in end of July, August, some even in September. So I think that's one. The other is at the same time, this whole transition towards online might also make some of these universities to actually start the courses on the online mode rather than making them exist in the physical environment. So obviously it's not as safe to be in the physical environment yet. So it's quite possible that at least at the UG level, the number of universities wanting to start by June or even early July may not be a reality. It might get pushed. But at the same time, be prepared for an online intervention, right in the beginning for orientation purposes, foundation purposes, because I think universities will be one place who will be rather careful about the social distancing element. We'll be rather careful about the physical distance element, making sure that everything is actually safe before students are admitted in large numbers into their campuses. So I think that's one. The other is, okay, this is a reality. The fact is that there's been a break, there's been intermittent break. Keeping your confidence levels high, keeping your motivation levels high will always be difficult. But this is obviously teaching us something. So I will request all these students who are in the middle of their exams per se to hold steadfast, to keep themselves motivated, to keep the learning process on. It'll be difficult, but it's something that we have to do. This particular crisis is teaching us a lot about us as humans. So I think that this is one big thing.
I think technology creates a little of hitches every time. So Dr. Anju, you're back.
Absolutely.
And Dr. Vishal, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For the immediate switchover, because once his power was down, I was thinking, okay, where is Vishal? I could not wrap up with this question. So Anju, you're back. Now you can start. Thank you, Vishal.
Thank you. Take care.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Vishal, for filling in that gap with your insightful, message. And thank you, Sunanda, for this patience. Very, very quickly, can I please request you to move to my first slide? Thank you, Dr. Vishal. All right. So as I said, a high five, and I said, smile cover smile. So the question was, what is the importance of emotional wellness coaching for the students? And I said, emotions are both pleasant and unpleasant. To sway our emotions from unpleasant to pleasant is what we are looking at these days. With this, without any further ado, I would like to start with a story. The topic of my session, a quick session, is preparedness to accept results. And the story goes like, there were 4 friends named SARS, Spanish flu, World War I, and World War II. They were discussing that who has been the deadliest and worst to the world so far. All of them were boasting for themselves. And here came a hysteric laughter. Ha 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 ha. Fools, it is none of you. I am the deadliest. I am COVID-19. What? You don't believe me? Let's go for a polling. And they all went for a polling. Any guesses? Who came out as a hands down winner? No points for guessing. It was COVID-19 as the hands down winner. Next, please. Sunanda, next, please.
Yeah.
So, why? Thank you. So why has COVID-19 came out to be the deadliest enemy? Just because the current universe is facing it? Does that mean that World War I or II or Spanish flu was any less for the people who were living at that point of time? Now think from that angle. This will give us a boost. I will enable you from the emotional front to be prepared to accept results. World War I, II, Spanish flu, SARS, etc. Nothing was easy even that time. So is this COVID-19. Certainly, none of us knows which is going to be the new normal for any of us. Those days also, people were working towards success. These days also, people are working towards success. But what is success? Post-COVID-19 wave will decide the definition of success for many of us. In fact, most of us. So does that mean we keep one hand on the other and sit with long face and crib as to, what is happening, what will happen? No, let's not compare things from the past. Past is gone now. We have to be prepared for the future. How? Because new normal is not yet known. So I'll give you a few tools from the emotional intelligence discipline that how can we be prepared to be in the state of resourcefulness even now. Although the future is still unknown, we all know that, but cribbing will not solve the purpose. Let us gather all our resources and now work towards success. Next slide, please. Few tools from the area of emotional intelligence to be up when things don't shape up well. Uh, let's take example of students, because there are many students who are listening to it. There are educators, and then there are various coaches who are listening to this crisp conversation. So the very first pie of my tools is intention. What is the intention? Is my intention to compare things with the past? Then I'm sorry, please change the intention. The intention to be prepared to accept the result will be that, okay, I have to gather all my resources. Now, the resources are not always only money. Even your knowledge is your resource. Even your connections are your resource. Maybe some old skills that you learned can be your resource. So, what is my intention? My intention is to work forward, to accept the new normal, be it whatever. Second, the narrative. Now, if my narrative is towards I cannot, I do not, what will happen? Then perhaps my intention, the strongest of the intention, also will fail. So, can my narrative as a student be whatever time I am given now because of the because of the this disease, let me make use of this time. I will certainly use my time for my entertainment with friends, but can I also form maybe small groups within my friends to discuss some power topics as we do in organizations? So students, you are actually gearing up for the organizational mentor-mentee and the buddy coaching system kind of a thing. Change is always abrupt. Unless it is planned, change is always abrupt, and it is the abrupt change that brings in revolution. So I go back from intention. I started with intention. I moved to narrative. I am moving to repetition. Why repetition? If you keep repeating this narrative by with kind of intensity, with a kind of high intensity, that okay, I have these many resources, and this is how I can make use of resources. Bring your attention to what is possible. Who are working for you? Your government is working for you. Educators are working for you. And as I was mentioning, that I'm completely taken, taken ahead. I have been moved with the conversation that I heard from Aparna ji, Ananta ji, and the educators. That how much are they doing for us? So let my intention be, I have to utilize this time and not compare it with the past. The new normal I am preparing for. Who are my resources? My own skills, my own willingness to work, and my friends can be my resources. My teachers can be my resources, and I have to repeat this with intensity time and again. So 5 tools very quickly: intention, narrative, repetition, intensity, and attention. Whichever wolf you will feed will grow in your head. Bad or good, entirely your call. Next slide, please. Thank you, Kavita. Oh, yes. So I was never, I was never very fond of chess. But while I was reading this stimulus choice response thing, I was reminded of this game, chess. How smartly the game of chess teaches us 2 things. One, being resilient. Another, being emotionally empowered. What does it mean? The pawns who are in the front line, they may be the warriors, they may be the frontline warriors, but you know why most of them, they die down very soon, sooner than the elite class? Because they have no choice. So when the stimulus is to move ahead, they move ahead, and whatever is the response, they have to either move one straight house ahead, or they have to or they have to cut down the other party. They have they don't have much choice. The only choice is whether to move or not. But the elite class has a beautiful choice with resilience. That is, a horse may have moved 5 times, but it will not wait even once in moving back one by one whenever there is the need. The strategy has to change, of course. Time has changed. New normal is going to change. And henceforth, what is it that we need to change? We need to change the thought that past was better, future will be good too. But we will have to play the narrative accordingly. So I'm trying to enable you from the emotional front. Resilience is bouncing back. It is not only enduring, okay, sitting down in the lockdown, enduring whatever is happening. No, even as students, I mean, thanks to all these educators who have come up with such brilliant initiatives. So as a student, what is your responsibility now? The responsibility is, let me make use of this time. Let me have the schedule. Let me bounce back. I will bounce back because I am the future of the nation. And emotional empowerment, whatever is happening around, it will keep happening. Park it. Park it for some time. Be selfish. Get detached. It is easy to say, but it is not impossible to practice. Practice the narrative here. Bring your attention to what you can do. It is the matter of choice. Stimulus is same for all of us. Next slide, please. So the last slide will sum up everything. The 5 tools that I gave you and the chess game that I talked about. This slide, the last slide, will sum up everything. The very first tip is embrace your emotions. To acknowledge, even if you feel like crying, cry, that's all right. Vent it out. Let the sadness not engulf you, because the moment it starts engulfing you, your amygdala gets hijacked. Let it not be hijacked. Talk, communicate. As Dr. Talwar said, communication is important. And I could see that emotional intelligence pointer also, the second last pointer. Of course, you need to communicate. Talk to your friends, talk to your siblings, talk to your parents, talk to yourself. And let the unpleasant emotions be segregated from the pleasant emotions. I'm not saying do not express them, and then let them vent out. Recognize the unhealthy attempts to reduce pain. So if, let's say, keeping quiet or watching TV is not helping you at all, change to something. You have a house. You are privileged to have a house and certain resources. Practice healthy coping skills. Your own coping skills matter a lot. So a sounding board can be your coping skill. Writing a diary can be your coping skill. Or maybe attending too many webinars can be your coping skill. Whatever it is, you have to, I'm saying. There is no choice now, because gone are the days when Kurt Lewin gave us a choice, unlearn and relearn. Now the nature, this virus has taught us, you have to push your comfort zone. You have to unlearn and relearn. Develop realistic thoughts about failure. Even if something is getting failed, it is not me who is getting failed, it is my attempt. So I'll reattempt things. That's all right. Accept an appropriate level of responsibility. So something that's not in your control, that's not in your control. Do not hold yourself responsible for it, because that will only bring in the unhealthy or the unpleasant emotions. Find the gap. So something, as one of the educator very rightly said, if the two by two multiplication has to be taught, let the 1 by 1 multiplication be strong enough, and re-strategize and act. This is the time. Happy emotioning. Use this time. You will never get this time back, because self-introspection is what we keep talking about. To accept the results, to be prepared to accept the results, acknowledge your emotions, and be emotionally empowered by figuring out what are my resources, how can I make use of them. On this note, last slide, please.
Yeah, it was the last slide, I believe. Yeah, there is nothing else.
Okay, the last slide is thank you. Thank you. See? And that's it.
Thank you so much, Anju.
Thank you for being patient listeners.
Anju, you
My
always,
pleasure, dear Sunanda. Thank you so much.
You always amaze the speaker, listeners with your sessions. And thank you for standing by us every time. With this, I introduce another author who is going to come after this, is Mr. Karan Verma, and a award winner plus someone who is actually taking the startups to a very user-friendly way, Sushnato Datta, to come and share the world that how is the digital world changing. Hi Karan, thank you so much for joining.
Hi. I hope I'm audible. I hope you can see me. Yeah.
Yes. Sushnato, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yes, very much.
Yeah.
So, since you are the last speakers, and I'm sure I would have bothered you a lot with the waiting time.
No worries.
Okay. See, we have been speaking a lot since morning about what exactly is happening, how the careers are shaping up. So now where we want to actually draw our attention is that what are the strategies that students should have or the entrepreneurs should have. And since you guys are the young entrepreneurs, you are an author who has been writing all these things. So my first question to you would be, Karan, you have been a person who started with your graduation, then post-graduation, then you start with your, entrepreneur journey, then you started with your author thing. So what was the biggest passion? And, in one of a book I read, Jack of all trades, but master of some. So if you can just share a bit about it.
Sunanda, it comes down to basically this. Winners win, irrespective of the circumstances, despite knowing that the circumstances are tough, winners always find a way out. I mean, right now, the kind of circumstances we have, we understand that, it's tricky. But what will keep you going is your spirit to come out on top. And as for me, one thing that was ingrained beautifully, and I give a lot of credit to my mom for that, is you have to embrace little failures. I mean, only if you can embrace little failures and experiment and explore, will you actually find your true calling. A lot of students out there, they never really find out what their true calling is. And that's because they are not experimenting, exploring. It's okay to fail, And a lot of schools, I visit a lot of schools, I meet a lot of principals and educators. Some of them are doing a fantastic job, and I heard them speak today. But one thing that we have to, get people out of their cocoon, and especially one thing that Corona has done is it has gotten us out of our cocoon. We have to try out a number of things. We have to be a jack of all. It's okay to fail on certain things, and then only come to our final calling. And entrepreneurship is all about that. Let's understand this. Some of the biggest jobs, the highest paying jobs, and I'm sure Sushanta would also attest to that, did not even exist some 15, 20 years back. The world we're in has changed, and it's changed more post-corona. Today, we're talking about data, big data. And when we say big data, we're talking about thousands and thousands of jobs. Now it's up to us to, whether we leverage on that, whether we're sitting at home and whining and crying about it, or we go on an academy or an upgrade or a platform like yours and learn that skill. I'm giving you a heads up right away on 5-6 things which are going to take off like a rocket after this. We are going to see a boom of bio-based careers. Bio-based students have had a tough time. I mean, either they clear MBBS or they clear medical, or they've had to face a paucity of options. That's going to change. We're going to see a bounce back of genetics, of pharma. We're going to see people get far more interested in health-related R&D. So, health is going to be big. Ayurveda, going back to the roots, it's going to be big as a career. I can tell you that right away. OTT, when we talk about the Netflixes and Amazons, entertainment on OTT, if you can make content for them, if you can do something out there, that's going to be big. Digital is picking up big. Sushanto can again attest to that. So, we have to keep our eyes on where the attention of the world is right now. So it comes down to this: either adapt and win, or just stay put and lose. And as for the students, I have to tell you, the students have an unbelievable spirit of experimenting. Only if we break the shackles and unleash their potential, and I think schools, colleges, parents, educators can be great facilitators at that, we are going to see unbelievable potential unleashed. I am very optimistic about the times ahead. Let me tell you, adversity comes in as an opportunity most of the times. When we had the economic crisis of 1991, India bounced back courtesy economic liberalization and went on to become the fastest growing economy. That was an adversity which got converted into an opportunity. World War II was an opportunity for US to become a superpower. So let's not, sit and wait for this opportunity to go. This is an opportunity in disguise. Despite the tough times, despite all the hits we're taking, we have to make the most of it. We don't have to waste our time by, whining and crying about it. Rather, we should approach lots of TIE. Like the other day, the Indus entrepreneurs.
Karan, I'll interrupt here. What I'll do is I'll put forward a question which has come to me. Data Game creates 2,000 new surge of jobs for COVID-19.
Right.
What are your views on it? So let me first put forward this question to Sushnato, and then I'll come to you. Sushnato, can you please answer this?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Datacom creates 2,000 new surge jobs of COVID-19 crisis. What are your views on it?
First view would be, is the news right? Because I think the numbers are lowly put. There's going to be a lot of more job search due to COVID-19 in this sector, because every business that has existed or wants to exist is going digital. I, as an active practicing digital marketer, I am seeing it happening. Everyone wants to go digital. Traditional trades which haven't existed, as a matter of fact, traditional trades not existing. Now going to exist. They're trying to adapt, they're trying to implement new modules, steps also. The time I think
Okay. Well, let me move back to Karan. Karan, what
Yeah.
are your views on it?
As I said, big data is something that's an absolute gold mine. Now it's up to us whether we want to mine that gold or we want to just give it a pass.
Great.
Data science. I'm telling you, data scientists, some of my friends, Sweden, US, other places, they are sitting on this bull run right now, data science. Data scientists, there's a huge paucity of it. It's an almost spoiler alert that I'm giving at an opportunity. Fix this, learn the skills of data science. So many IBM, so many other companies are offering it online. Learn this, and you're going to, mint money after this, to put it mildly. That's all I can say on that.
That's really good. The second question that has come to us is, how does that bring to a perspective of the digital wave? So I would move on again to Sushnato and ask answer us with this question, that how does that brings a perspective to a digital wave, and then I'll come to you, Karan. Then we will summarize on this.
Sure.
Sushnato? Sushnato, it might be you have to put off. Yeah, it's audible now. Yeah.
Audible? Yeah.
Yes, you are audible.
So the digital wave, that word that we are using nowadays, it has been going on for some time now. So what COVID-19 has done is it has given a knee-jerk reaction to this whole thing. There's a knee-jerk reaction. What was happening has just, it has accelerated. Digital wave has been going on for long. So yeah, again, as a follow-up and as a following up to the last question, it's going to grow. It's going to grow bigger. India is a country of 1.3 billion. It's like the other day I was seeing a map. States can take in some of the major countries' population into it, or the land size also. So it's a huge market. India has always been, especially because since there are entry restrictions and on all in China, people do prefer to be in India. So the digital wave is going to pick up because it's cheaper, it's more result oriented. Yeah, consumers and products both alike are going towards it. Yes. So, yeah.
Fine. Can we move on to Karan?
Yeah. On the digital revolution, you're asking me?
Yeah.
Sunanda?
Yeah, very short.
Look,
30 seconds answer.
Yeah. Sunanda, technology is never the revolution. What you do with technology is the revolution. Right now, what we are able to do with Zoom and pull off a virtual career hackathon is the revolution. So again, you'll have to learn the skills. You'll have to have the attitude. This is the era of soft skills. I mean, you can have robotics, you can have artificial intelligence, you can have automation, but you'll need people with the right temperament, leadership, communication, and emotional intelligence to manage that. Yes, this is a digital wave, but to ride it, the rules of the game, as much as they change, they remain the same. Humility, empathy, the alertness and the promptness to react, skills are the new grades. That is what is going to make this digital wave a revolution, right?
Perfect. So what we understand from both of you digital is the new norm. And as Karan has pointed out his pointers and Sushnato has pointed out his pointers, the young entrepreneurs have to say that yes, resilience is required, empathy is required, and data is the big science that is coming up. With this, we sign off with both of you. I'm so sorry, we are having a very short time and I'm getting a messages on the YouTube also. And for the people who are watching us on YouTube, next time hum Hindi mein koshish.
I will just say this. I'm helping a lot of students right now. Many of them are even interning with me. You can follow me on official.karanvarma. Ping me. We can do lots of career thing. I can help you in whichever way I can. So
Perfect. We will, we will share that. We will share that with people.
Sure.
So for the viewers who are watching us on YouTube and have requested that we should go on Hindi, definitely next time I will ask my speakers to use both the languages. I'm so sorry, we could not take up this question earlier because of this thing. Now, let me, before I ask my colleagues to start with the this one, the voter thanks, I wanted to share a bit of thing. We, as you know, NCCN is National Career Counselors Network, and we have 2,000 career mentors. So all the educators who need the, career mentoring online, we are there. We are there across India, wherever, whether it's Vizag, whether it's Orissa, whether it's Jamshedpur, and we all are online. So, we would request you to reach us. NCCN is there to help you. There are multiple people who are there in this, Zoom live right now, as well as on the YouTube from the NCCN, who are watching us and sharing us the messages that we are there to help you pro bono, as well as on the commercial aspect. There's something which is coming up, that is Digital Educators Reform Manual. It's an e-coffee table book. I will share these details with every one of you. And I take a privilege that Career Beacon is actually a magazine partner for them, and we can do so much of synergies. Now, not standing between you and your lunch, I would request Mr. Sunny Rathore of K12 News to come and share his vote of thanks, followed by Ms. Kavita Rai.
Yeah, thank you, Sunanda. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, honorable speakers, all respected participant, guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. I, Sunny Rathore, on behalf of K12 News and the entire organizing team, Concept, NCCN, Youngster Entrepreneur Nexus, or let me call it fraternity of education here together. And on my I extend a very heartily vote of thanks to all speakers for gracing your essential work and sharing with us your views and strategies. Every night comes with a better sunshine, and we hope that COVID crisis will give us more enthusiasm and energy to go with out of the box ideas and strategies. With I take your leave. Thank you. And lastly, I would request you all to share your feedback or message as a video bite to enable us to enrich our channel with the videos of dignitaries like you. We will also share a digital participation certificate to each participant on email as well as WhatsApp today or tomorrow. We'll see you soon. Thank you so much.
It was really short but very effective. That motivated us. Thank you so much for sharing your online platform for streaming this. I'm sure we are creating that links of all the talks so that it can go to all the audience who have missed it out. Now over to Kavita Rai. Kavita is behind the scenes for the entire setup. Everything that is going live, everything that is going technically well, touch wood, is just because of Kavita. So hats off to you, Kavita, and over to you for the vote of thanks.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure for me to host the second edition of Career Hackathon, and I really thank all the participants for joining us live virtually. And we are fortunate that we have such an eminent speakers, academician, industry, and I'm sure the other participants who are with us, students, they must have benefited, something by attending this virtual event. I like to, sincerely thank our keynote speaker, Dr. Manish Kumar and Mr. Anil Sarup for inspiring and guiding us. And thank you, sir, for your inspiration and for your great words. I thank Gina for, amazing experience that we all experience through conscious music, which is new to us. And we truly appreciate the, the impact it can create in achieving one's goal. So we are very thankful, Gina, for introducing the conscious music to us. And I thank Dr. Blossom Kocher and Dr. Vishal Talwar for enlightening us with the disruption that is going to happen in technology and even in the beauty and wellness industry, the out of box thinking that will be coming and what is going to be a new normal now. My thanks to Ms. Mamta Sakya, Ms. Aparna Magi, and Mr. Ananta Krishnan for enlightening us, with the impact of this COVID and the way forward and the out of box, thinking and commitment that has been shown by the teachers and you educators. You're working so hard for it. And my deep gratitude and appreciation for Mr. Nikhil Desai, Dr. Anju Chawla, and Brigadier Dr. Sunil Mudgil for really inspiring us, guiding us to face the life and the challenge this COVID-19 has thrown on us. And I thank Sushantu Datta and Karan Verma for, fueling the energy that young people have put in and inspiration for the students and the budding entrepreneurs. And I have to thank Siddharth, Mrinang, Sunny, Kranti, Sunanda, and Ashutosh for their support and constant encouragement. I once again thank everyone for making second edition of the Hackathon a great success. Thank you so much for being here and being part of it.
Thank you, Kavita. Thank you, Sunny, for extending your vote of thanks. Well, this comes to a second edition conclusion, and we will be surely bombarding you with all the videos and everything. And as this is a Friday, and most of the people are having overlapping things. In fact, we are also running to another event. But, it was lovely having all of you and sharing the things. Once again, thank you all for staying back with us till now to create this event to be a successful of. This is Sunanda signing off from Career Hackathon Edition 2.
Thank you.